One day I'll come for your session with this one or no? I don't think I will see Saturday.
You can come inside, no problem.
This one is not sitting, I'll sit. I would like to just sit and.
Where?
Either.
Who is this one? बोले तो कौन?
वो Adira.
हाँ
But
यार.
she loves your telling not it. It comes on YouTube.
Greetings everyone. We will just join in a minute because people are still joining. So greetings everyone. This has been recorded for our Western zone people who cannot come live here. People are still joining, so. So greetings everyone. Warm welcome to all of you. So this I've kept it open, though I had intended to have an extended session for the people who did the webinar from doing to being. Just give me 1 second. Just because the this takes a lot of space. Zoom takes a lot of space, and it has limited time period. So if we cannot keep deleting it, or because there are new programs all the time happening. So if the programs are less, we have 48 hours of recording. If the program is continuous, then 24 hours it has to get deleted. So that is why this week, what we have is what I'm calling as Arunachala Tattva week, the grace of Arunachala. So many programs are there continuously for almost 8 days. So that is why I put that clause that the recordings, if anybody wants who are not available in the live, this is only for the Western zone. It will be available only for 24 hours. So you will have to be very quick with it. One idea of not keeping recording for too long is so that you don't get hooked on to this, what we call as guided meditation. To tell you, it's a bad habit. Any guided meditation is a bad habit because it will keep you hooked on to. And when we are learning about Nirlam Yoga to become independent, to learn, these things are just for us to learn, understand, inculcate, and then drop it. From outside, it has to drop. It has to go within, and then you become free of it. So that's the reason these are not kept for long, also. And even the courses, also, when I'm doing, I give only 1 week time. Because if you keep it for eternity, nobody will do it. First of all, you have that idea hankering that, oh, it's there, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next week, and it never happens. But if you know there is a limited time of 1 week, you will end up doing it. You'll find out time, even if you are having hectic schedules. I've had two doctors again from US zones who are doing this. So they are very busy. So they always keep on saying. One is a neonatologist. So she also keeps saying the same thing. Give me an extension for 1 week. So I say I can't do anything. It's if it gets deleted, it's get deleted. You do it. So they somehow find time and do it. And these programs are very consistent. Like if you're doing Kal Gyan or Sarvotra Gyan and this one, Updesha Saram and all that. It's very consistent. If you are not consistent, even if you miss 1 day, you are not in that spirit. If you are not in that vibe, the whole energy, if it is changed, then it's very difficult to continue with it. For me, it's easy because 24/7, I think about these things only. I'm into this only. For you, it may not be because you have other things to do, so many other things. So that consistency is upon you. So how much you build up that consistency, that continuity, that perseverance will help you in evolving faster. And this notion about doing and being, most of the people are scared of this doing to being. They get very scared. No, I'll become a puppet, or I'll become an idle person. I won't do anything. I'll just have to sit and do nothing. It's not that way. It's absolutely not. Do you find me like a puppet sitting in one corner doing nothing? I'm doing so many things. I'm actually doing so many things. I am doing it. But the only difference is while you do it, you don't hold on to that idea that I'm doing it. That's that's the only difference between doing and not doing. So non-doing means it's not doing. You are doing, but with the feeling that I am not doing. There is something that is working through me. So that's basically how the non-doing is all about. So you still continue doing whatever you're doing, all the things that you are engaged into, all the tasks that you're engaged into, all the karmic debts that you're, all the unresolved issues, what you're into. whatever the give and take, the adventures of life, the experiences of life, you're relishing everything. Okay, so there is nothing like you're missing out something. So that is a misconcept of doing and being. So they say if I'm being, I'm not doing anything. So many are scared in that zone because they feel it will make me a vegetable. And the other ideologies, oh, then when, how will I earn my bread and butter? I have to do something. And this guy is telling, don't do anything. Maybe for him it is easy because he has nothing else to do. But it's not practical for me. I have so many things to do. I'm involved in the world. So the ideology, if it is wrong, then you have all these jitters. But not doing is not that. You can be doing, but when you are doing also, you'll be so settled. How will you know whether the doer is doing it or that one is doing? The cosmic intelligence is doing. Just look at your situations when you are doing, how you are doing it. If you are doing it very restlessly, if you are doing it in tension, if you are doing it half-heartedly, or if you are worried and doing it, if you're stressed out and doing it, and you do and you get tired and stressed out, that's a clear indication that the doer is present. Clear indication. But on the same end, if you're doing a lot of things and you never feel fatigued, you never feel tensed, you are not worried about the outcomes or all this. You're very easygoing. It's just you're floating through whatever you're doing. There you can understand that you are not entangled with that doership there. Simple things to find out whether I'm in that zone or not. And you will have a lot of energy. You'll have you'll have lot of life and enthusiasm in whatever you do and in whatever you don't do, because you are not dissipating energy. Where do you dissipate energy? When the mind, the eye is active. The eye, when the eye begins doing it, you are exhausting your fuel. Whatever you gather, the prana, through eating food, through sleeping, through meditating, or any spiritual practice, whatever you're doing, whatever you earn, that prana, you're exhausted because you are doing it. It is a simple funda of even healing fundas, what they talk about. Like when somebody is doing healing, there is a healer there, present there. So when the healer is present, the healer is healing, then the energy of the healer is going. And the karmic connection is being established by the healer and the healed, because the doer has come. So there is a lot of involvement in all that give and take. But if somebody is a transmitter, just a medium, and has the wholehearted knowing, I'm not doing it, then they are able to, they become very good healers. All the great healers have no identity of that doing. Anyways, I don't want to get into that zone. But I'm telling, the philosophy is the same, the funda is all the same. Anything where you take responsibility, when you have the doership, you are expending what you have. But if you just become a medium and you are connected to that and you allow something else, that energy flows through you. So when the doer is doing, you are not tensed, you are not worried. Worry can come when I am doing it because I am not confident in myself. But that tattva, if you are fully connected to the param tattva, there is no doubt that that cosmic intelligence cannot do anything wrong. It will do only that which is for the highest. So when I have that awareness that I am connected to that cosmic intelligence, which will only do what is for the highest good, then where is the worry about? You can see the worry is only when I am doing it. So the stress, the worry, all these things get simply eradicated because you are plugged in to that zone. And when you're plugged into that zone, then there is no question of, even if it is the result is not as per your requirement, your wish. The conviction is very strong. This is divine will. This is the wish. That is where that zone comes like thy will be done. Teri raza mein meri raza. Jis vidhi rakhe us vidhi rahiye. Jo Shivagya. So if the result is not according to what I want, I am convinced that it is Jo Shivagya. It is the will of God. So when you go into that frame of mind, that state of consciousness, that everything is happening for the highest good, then there is no doubt at all. Then there is nothing like, because many people feel, oh, if God is doing, I am not doing, then it should be all positive, positive, positive. That is where people fail, because they do something, even if they are connected, and if that thing doesn't happen, then they say, oh, something is wrong. God cannot do any negative thing in my life. If God is doing, then he has to only do positive. It's impossible. The negative or positive is all the outcomes of your karma. Even if a negative aspect is supposed to come to you as karmic game, that negative karma is coming only to lead you to the highest. That I've explained it thousands of times, but it gets very difficult to get into our strong brick head, because we look at only one egoic point of view. All this negative. This bullshit must go out of us, where we think spirituality means only good things. This crap should go out of us, first of all. Because then otherwise you are only a greedy person doing even the spiritual practice only for good, 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 good. You can't stand by it. You are in raga dvesha. You are only in one of the opposites. You are only wanting pleasure. You are only wanting happiness. You are only wanting great joy. You are only wanting success. And that is impossible in the Dvaita Loka. You are living in Bhuloka, which has dualities. So this is common sense in spirituality to understand. But I see many of them are not settled in this fundamental only. First of all, they don't get this fundamental right. They say spirituality means everything should go right, everything should go nice. And when I say it's a bunch of everything, then they say, then what is the use of doing any spiritual practice? There is. Because the ignorant fool will suffer. Even in suffering, he will suffer. In happiness also, they will suffer. Look at it. But a spiritual person who has understood and realized it will not suffer in the suffering or in the happiness also. They are in the neutral zone. They have settled themselves in the center. They are not affected by this or that. Because if you are a person which will get affected by one, even happiness, peace, joy, success, surely you will be affected by the other. Guaranteed. If you are too excited by the positives of life, you guarantee are a person who are the opposite. You will look at somebody, their how, and if they are too excited people, too enthusiastic people, these are the same people who are depressed people. When the tide goes low, they will go low, guaranteed. Because the other flutter which is there, the hype of the high, it is a tendency in them to catch the hype. So that tendency which catches according to the external situation. So if the external situation is high, he or she will be high. If the external situation is low, he or she will be low. That is a prakriti, and nobody can escape that. If this habit, so you can contemplate and see what are you in these zones. And one who is neutral, neutral doesn't mean you're stone-hearted. You are it, you are feeling it, but what's the big deal? What's to get so attached with that thing? You are not attached to those hyper things. And when you develop that habit of not getting too attached with it, guarantee you will not get attached to the low also. That is the prakriti. If the prakriti is trained in that manner, it cannot be affected by this. So in spirituality, there is a big wrong notion, first of all, that spirituality means everything goody stuff only. And when you have this kind of a wrong philosophy, how will you trust that anything that is happening is God's will? Because there also you are seeing only good things should happen to you. So anything negative is happening, it's not right. In that case, Ram should have cursed God because he was a godly man. He was so connected. When his wife went, he should have cursed. When all the problems, Ram has only problems in his life. You look at Ramayana, you'll never see him happy anywhere or his situations happy anywhere. Whole life. But he never complained. Why? He was neutral. Look at his face. In all adversities also, he was Nischala. Even if he went to hunt his wife, and he was stable. He was stable minded. He was not like fluttering. Because when he started his flutter, Yog Vasisht, his guru, Vasisht Mahamuni, gave him many practices, including the Who Am I. And he said, inquire, who are you really? The fluttering person or something behind it? Inquire, to whom does this samsara belong? The samsara in which your wife is there. Then you will come to know. To whom does this belong? Find out. And if you actually contemplate, you will come to know samsara belongs to the ego. This false one. The samsara belongs to Jake, but not the one sitting in this. So that is a contemplation of who am I? Am I this Jake or is it something deeper than that? That is when I contemplate. So you can contemplate on both ways. You can find out this one, the false one. Who am I? When you find out the false one, you will know this is not me. That is one way. The other is straight find out who am I. When you find out the real you will automatically know the false one is not you. In whichever way you go. Because when you go into the false I, you will clearly experience it. That it's not. That is why, to whom does the sansara belong? He said, Vasisht Vaman. And Bhagavan Ram contemplated on it. And he came to know this samsara doesn't belong to Ram. It belongs to this king who was expelled from the kingdom. This is the identity. This is all what we are practicing. Simple tattvas. If you get the sar of it, you will straight go to the point. This is the problem. What this glamour, why I'm so off-minded when this glamour spirituality comes, because it conditions people in a very different way. Sometimes in the wrong way. The basics, we don't get it correct. And if that basic is not right, you do whatever you can't. So sometimes we can damage people by giving wrong insights, then rather coming straight to the point. So here we don't beat around the bush. Straight to the point. Everything is straight to the point. Here also, whatever I talk is straight to the point. It's not like beating around, flattering things and keeping you happy and giving you hopes that this will happen, that no, anything. This is life. So what we are learning is what is life, being in that life and taking everything, whatever it comes, and yet being neutral. That is the mastery that has to be attained. Simple. Because nobody has escaped this. Good and bad. See, look at all the saints. Do you think their life is only goody goody? Look at all the avatars, all goody goody. Even avatars could not move out from duality. What are we, you and me? Then where is that practicality not coming into us? So this idea of having that, oh, I'm a spiritual person, I'm doing spiritual practice now, everything will be good in my life. Drop that. Drop that, because otherwise your motivation is for getting good in life. The whole practice, the motivation is going in the wrong direction. I want something, I want something. So you will see there is greed hidden in this. There is swarth hidden in this. Then you are only selfish about, I want good. That's it. Hook or crook, I want good. So then you will understand that whatever practice you are doing it for that good. You are not doing it for the higher purpose. वहां बात का बतंगड़ बनता है. You get hooked on in that loop forever and ever. Very difficult to come out of it. That is why these practices of awareness. So all those who did this from doing to being, you saw how powerful it is. You saw how just by reflecting on that scripture, which is coming as the voice of Shiva itself, the message of Shiva, how he's explaining what is the nature of the self, yani his own nature. When he says nature of the self, he's telling this is my nature. And he's telling it many times in that. This is my nature. This is who I am. No doubt about this. I am this. What is I am this? That we explained in Sarvagyanatra. We are seeing continuously. So those who did Devi Kalotra or Kalagyan will surely find it very easy to understand, because Kalagyan, Lord Shiva is just telling Parvati, stop the activity. What is the message? Yesterday I told. What is the message of Kalagyan or Devi Kalotra which Lord Shiva is giving in those 65 verses? What is, if you ask me in simple one line, what is the message that he gives Shakti? Shakti who comes to Shiva and says, I want to merge with you now. Tell me the sutras, tell me the secret, give me the Brahmagyan. Because I want to know. If you ask me in one line, what is the message of Shiva? He says, stop doing. Because Shakti is doing. Creation, sustenance, annihilations, destruction. This is the play. So that is why when the Shakti begins doing something, it is Maya Jagat. Right from when the Shakti began, till all the lokas she has created, it is Maya Jagat. And what does Shiva say in that? Kalagyan, he clearly says, the whole creation is the Sankalpa of Shakti. What it is? Clearly he is telling, the whole creation is the Sankalpa of Shakti. And in Sarvatra Gyan he says, this is her creation. I have never been immersed in it, nor will I ever be. Means he is pulling back. He's saying, this is not my play. Nirguna Nirakara. Pure consciousness. He says, I'm just the witness. I'm witnessing everything, whatever she's doing. I'm least interested in it. I'm least merged in it. I'm detached from it. I cannot be Maya. So he's watching the Shakti play and he has no judgments. It's fine. You're doing it, fine. Go ahead and do it. No opinions, no conclusions. And when she comes back and says, I'm done with doing. Now I want to merge with you. Welcome back. So what do I do? She's asking. He says, stop doing. Doing is chanchalta. Doing is new karmic activity, because the moment you start doing, you have new karmas. You are not coming back to me. The message. Very clear. Shiva said. The moment you start doing, you are out in your doing, you are out in your play. And you keep playing, I have no problem with that also. But if you sincerely ask me, how do I come out? He says, stop playing. That stop playing is what we are discussing here. Being. Don't do. What is the message here? Same message of Shiva. Stop doing. What is causing me getting entangled in this life? Why am I not able to realize you, oh Lord, you are playing. You're busy playing. The more you play, the more far you are from me. And I have no problem. I'm still watching you. I love you unconditionally. Go play. You like playing, play. I'm with you. You don't like playing, I'm with you. Come back. Everything is fine. This is the secret sutra. Everything is okay. What Rishi Prabhakarji, I loved when I heard it on the board in ashram. It was written. And that still vibrates in me. The one sutra that Guru could give his ashram and his people, everything is okay. Which my Guru said, Har hal mein khushi. Same. What is Har hal mein khush? दुख आए तो भी खुश रहो. एंड व्हाट आर वी सेइंग? नहीं, दुख नहीं चाहिए. ओनली खुशी है तो हम खुश. हर हाल में खुश नहीं, खुशहाली में ही खुश. बकवास है वो. इट कैन नॉट हैपन. वो तो कोई भी करता है. यू लुक एट द वर्ल्ड. जब खुशी है तो खुश कोई भी हो सकता है, दुखी है तो दुखी कोई भी हो सकता है. तो उनको स्पिरिचुअलिटी की क्या जरूरत है? व्हाट इज द यूज ऑफ स्पिरिचुअलिटी? स्पिरिचुअलिटी मीन्स हर हाल में खुश, ऐसा हो या वैसा हो. हाउ मेनी ऑफ अस हैव गॉट द गुरुज मैसेज? वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट. सब लोग पैरेटिंग करके वो बोल देते हैं उस चीज को लेके, तत्व पे उतरे नहीं. सो दैट इज व्हाट आई एम सेइंग. स्पिरिचुअलिटी शुड बी प्रैक्टिकल. This is practical spirituality, not just gathering of all the knowledge. Knowledge everybody knows about it. You see, the Pandits also recite all the by heart Vedas, they can by heart and tell you. You ask them which shloka, which they will tell you. But ask them about realization, they have no experience of it. But they have all the wisdom. So that's of no use. It's khokla wisdom, whatever we call. So this idea of doing and being should be very clear. There's nothing to get scared about this non-doing. Non-doing, again I'm repeating, is you'll continue doing whatever you're doing, but that idea of I am doing will start reducing till, and it should go till it becomes zero. The day it becomes zero, you're self-realized. Simple terminology bata self-realization. The day you can completely say or feel, say bhi nahi, feel and realize that things are completely happening, completely, absolutely nothing. You are completely Jivan Mukta. Simple. So see, there are so many margas to move to that zone of liberation, Jivan Mukta, and that is what I am continuously enhancing and emphasizing on. I'm not talking about moksha at all. I'm just talking, let us bring ourselves to such a level where we become neutral in life. That's it. Gadi neutral mein chale. Then you do whatever, then you'll see you don't have to escape the world. You don't have to have all those philosophies. ब्रह्मचर्य गृहस्थ संन्यास वानप्रस्थ because brahmacharya mein raho, sannyas mein raho, grahast mein raho, if you are unattached, if you are neutral, you are successful even as a brahmachari or sannyas. And if you are not neutral in any of these ashram, you are failed. It's a flop show. If I have seen so many grahastha talking so much hum grahastha ashram mein hai, but they are not neutral, they are completely bhogi. They can never move into the next zone of vanaprastha. They will never. वो याद भी नहीं आएगा, वो हो भी नहीं पाएगा. जिंदगी निकल जाएगी ऐसे ही ग्रस्त बोलते हुए अपने आप को. एंड ग्रस्त कौन है? भोगी. 100% भोगी. इन द नेम ऑफ द टाइटल ऑफ ग्रस्त व्हाट दे आर डूइंग इज भोग. क्यों? अवेयरनेस नहीं है, न्यूट्रलिटी नहीं है. न्यूट्रलिटी इफ इट इज देयर, दे विल नॉट गो बियॉन्ड अ सर्टेन लेवल. गृहस्था मीन्स न्यूट्रल मीन्स व्हाट? मोह माया में फंस ही नहीं सकता है आदमी. They will have children, they will have husband, wife, whatever. They will be in the grahastha, they will be enjoying, but they are not carried away by that emotions. Me and mine. Unconscious. See, when we sit for satsanga, we are very spiritual. The moment we are out of the satsanga, you see what we do. Just become aware and see. Now, we might talk so much about detachment and all those things. Fine. The moment you finish up, you'll be so unconscious. You'll not even have that awareness that, look, what am I doing? Somebody has to sit and shake you up in the satsang. That time you'll remember, oh, this is it. And then you will be very spiritual for 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours, 6 hours sometimes. This habit has to be noticed. Awareness means catch these things. Catch this. What happens in the satsang, 1 hour or 5 hours or 10 hours, that has to be expanded in practice. That's practical spirituality. When you catch yourself, I've always told this, because until you come to nirmohatvam, there is no going ahead. Please understand this. That is why I'm talking those tattvas only, which are the foundations. These are the foundations of liberation. Liberation means freedom. If you want to experience freedom, then this is the foundation. These foundations are not taught. So if the foundations are not taught and everything else in spirituality is taught, what everybody will do? They will do everything, but not this foundation. So they will enter into grahastha. They will get so entangled with everything. And now, majbur, lachar. They are not able to come out. They are suffocated. One end of their soul is telling, your soul agenda. So when we remember suddenly, oh, this is where mukt hona hai. And the other end is calling vasanas, pulling you completely. And you are completely glued. So that frustration, that helplessness, it comes from there. It is coming because you are not doing anything about it. You don't have to flush it out, but at least become aware when that thing is happening. When that moha is happening, you have to be aware. Let the moha happen. Let the attachment be. But at that time, become fully conscious and see, oh, this is moha right now. This is attachment. This is obsessiveness. This is my possessiveness with somebody. That's happening. And be possessive, be obsessive, but keep that awareness. Then you'll see that it will start dying. If you repeatedly do this, you'll see that it is not getting grip now. When it gets grip, when you are unconscious, when you don't even remember, ये मोह था, बह गए उसके अंदर. And this will go on forever. There is no end to it. So this practice is that why I'm telling this practice, become aware of your surrounding, keep awareness on the tattvas, keep aware of your body all the time, because you get distracted from all this. Otherwise, mind will simply go and grasp like a lion catches its prey. Simply it will go and hold on, and there will be no awareness. Sometimes that holding is so powerful that it will shatter your awareness also. At that time, nothing. Have you seen people when they get angry? That time, sudh budh kho jata hai. And that time, even if somebody tries to tell you become aware or you're a spiritual person, usko bhi maar dalenge. Because that goes so high at that time. That is behoshi ki avastha. Completely unconscious. Such people cannot be called spiritual people. I'm sorry. They're not spiritual. Something else that's happening. Spirituality means, I was listening to Sarvapriyananda Swami. Very beautifully he was talking. So he was telling, what we see is not spirituality. Whatever people are doing, like they are doing karmakanda, they are having bhakti, and they are doing meditation, but they are doing it for some purpose, and that purpose is not the highest purpose. So until whatever they do, karmakanda, karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, or raj yoga, until they are doing all or any of these for the highest purpose of the soul, it is not spirituality, he says. See, so beautiful. Now, when we contemplate and see, we'll come to know how spiritual we are. सब पानी में जा रहा है. We are only claiming to be spiritual, or we have this feeling that we are spiritual because इतने साल हमने गुरु के साथ या उनके teachings follow किया, कुछ थोड़ा बहुत किया हमने, तो we feel we have been. No, I'm telling it, गुड़ खाते में जा रहा हूँ. It is going to dogs. I'm not mincing my words. And that is where the frustration comes from. When 10 साल बीत गए, 20 साल बीत गए, क्या हो रहा है? Why it is not? It's not happening because the fundamentals clear नहीं है अभी तक. So if you straight become aware of these things and very sharp, very blunt, that is why I'm very blunt, so that it should hit, it should thrash, it should splash out all this. Because धीरे धीरे हम अच्छे अच्छे बातें करते रहेंगे तो वो उसी में रह जाएंगे, बह जाएंगे उसके अंदर. ये भाव भक्ति, हम भाव भक्ति वाले लोग हैं. उसमें रम जाएंगे, टेयर्स आएगा, भाव जागृत होगा, कुंडलिनी पूरा शरीर ऊपर से नीचे हिलेगा, झटके मारेंगे करंट जैसा, और उसको लगेगा बहुत कुछ हो रहा है. And they'll feel that okay, this is it. Something is happening means something हो रहा है, कुछ तो हो रहा है. So until these simple things are clear, and this is all being what I'm talking about. It's a being, it will lead you to the being. Why it is not leading to the being? Wrong ideas, wrong concepts. Look at this, I'm doing this meditation, I'm doing that, even I'm doing awareness practice. Why? Because I will get something. Maybe health or well-being or peace of mind. ये तुच्छ के चीजों के लिए if you use it, it is not that you think these methods are meant for peace of mind, happiness, joy, clarity. You think it is for that? We are still in that zone. Until you raise your standards to the goals, and when you are doing it for that purpose, you see then how life will change. Because you have plugged the right into the right space. And then the clearing will happen to move you to that zone. If you catch chota mota ye tuch ke cheeze, your whole energy and the manifestation law starts working, and it will only give you that. The moment it gives you that, mark my words, you will drop your interest either. होता है, because हो गया ना, तृप्ति हो गया. What I wanted, little peace of mind, मिल गया peace of mind थोड़ा देर के लिए. That interest will drop now. You'll see many times people, when they do any spiritual practice and when they start getting little peace, little happiness, life थोड़ा settle हो गया. पहले क्यों आए स्पिरिचुअलिटी में? लाइफ अनसेटल्ड है, लॉट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स, कहाँ जाऊं, यहाँ जाऊं, वहां जाऊं, पता नहीं है. हेल्पलेस होके आई गॉट इनटू स्पिरिचुअलिटी. थॉट द गुरु विल सेव मी, गॉड विल सेव मी, सम प्रैक्टिस विल सेव मी, माय समर्पण विल सेव मी, समथिंग लाइक दैट. वो समर्पण भी वो स्वार्थ भक्ति. So called, so many people say I'm samarpit to the guru. For what? So that he will pull me out of my troubles. देखो, उतना ही है गुरु का काम. इसलिए तो गुरु इष्ट से मैं आपका साफ सफाई कर्मचारी हूं, बस इतना ही. साफ सफाई करते रहो, यही. इफ यू गिव दैट डेफिनेशन टू गॉड और दिस फॉर दैट पर्पस, देन जब तक साफ सफाई हो रही है तो आपका काम हो रहा है, आप खुश भीतर से. ये वेरी सबकॉन्शियस एक्ट से व्हाट इज हैपनिंग. व्हाट यू आस्क, इफ यू आर गेटिंग, यू आर हैप्पी इन इट. You will either be drowned in that happiness and want more of it, or you'll simply lose interest क्योंकि मिल गया आपको. My guru said this. People come to me for their swarth bhakti. Whatever they want, for that only come. Not a single person comes to me for unconditional stuff. बोलेंगे, they will talk big things. But every single person that comes to me has some need hidden. And they want fulfillment of that. Plain truth. So he said, don't bother who stays, who comes, who goes, because जो आएंगे, if they are coming with that, and if they get it, if they come for help to me, if they get it, they'll run away. हो गया काम खत्म. और नहीं मिला, they will say काम नहीं हो रहा, चलो निकलते हैं. उनका मतलब उतना ही सही है. Not just with the guru thing. I'm telling, anywhere you go, you see your relationships. You see your even habit of going to the shop. You want to go to a shop. If you don't get that thing there, will you stay there? You'll go to another shop. 2 times you go to the same shop. If that material is not there, third time you will not even look at that shop. You will straight look away somewhere. So those shopkeepers also are doing customer satisfaction. They don't want to lose customers, so they will try to please you, try to keep you happy. So transaction शुरू हुआ कि नहीं? Both need each other. Customer needs the supplier and supplier needs the customer. Spirituality में भी यही चलता है. Both are in need of each other. इसलिए मैं धंधा बोलता हूँ इसको. The business transaction. I need you, you need me. So until these kind of fundas are there, this is not the higher goal. This is not the last goal. Until it goes to something like even the being, if you want something, you go to the ultimate. Don't settle for anything other than that. That's a beautiful transaction happening because उसको कुछ लेना देना नहीं. If you don't go, that's your problem. If you go, that's your goodwill. The mediators have nothing to do in that. You go, they're happy. You don't go, they're not happy. They're happy. Whatever it is, everything is okay. So just imagine the situations in life where you can become such neutral. Even your relationships. You are there with me, I'm happy. You are not there with me, I'm happy. I'm okay with everything. Neutral. It is not stone-heartedness, it is neutrality. There is no dependency, there is no conditions attached. That's unconditional love. जहाँ you say, ऐसा है तो ऐसा रहेंगे, ऐसा है तो ही ऐसा होगा. If so many things are there only, then I'll be with you. Or if things are there only, you can be with me. These are all conditional stuff. And when that comes to spirituality, also the same effect. You see, if God gives me this, I will do this vrat, this upasa. or this sankalpa. हुआ ना? Transaction deal. If he doesn't give me that, I am angry. I won't do it. So everywhere there is this conditional look that we are having. Some give and take, give and take. What will I get? What will I get? What will I get? If you get rid of this habit and you become very neutral, see, you are free from all this kind of nonsense. You don't expect. First of all, your expectations will just drop. It'll just splash. Expectations means swartha. There is something I'm seeking. That is expectation. Oh, you didn't behave with me. You didn't do this to me. You didn't listen to me. You never did that to me. Expectation. If you do, I'm happy. If you don't do, I'm not happy. So what is that is making me happy or unhappy? My expectation from somebody. So if somebody doesn't do outside, my external circumstance will start controlling me. And if I'm neutral, if everything is okay in that zone, har hal mein khush, you can see what happens. You can, outside circumstances can never affect you. That is the zone of being, not doing. Because only a doer will expect. See, there also you see. You will do everything to win somebody's love or attention or support. You'll do everything. You'll even sacrifice. You can see so many stories going on. Sacrifice their life also till that extent. What are they doing? See the question. What are they doing? They are only doing this and that. Why? To attain that little bit of happiness. Little bit, somewhere they have got trailer in that relationship. Now they want to sustain it. Vishnu Tattva. They have created a relationship. Brahma Tattva. Now sustenance. Vishnu Tattva, very costly. Maintenance. Persevere. To preserve it. For that Vishnu Tattva, you have to be a doer. That is why Bhagavan Nityananda in Chidakasha Gita says, Hari is no Lord. Shiva is the Lord. Don't be devoted to Hari. Be devoted to Shiva. This is what he means. Because Hari is Maya, Prakriti, creation and sustenance. ये जितना सब मेंटेनेंस का ही लफड़ा है. This whole world is under maintenance. Only when maintenance comes, you have to be a doer. You will see. You have to maintain your body, you have to maintain your health, you have to maintain the relationships, you have to maintain your house, you have to maintain your status. See, what all you have to do now to maintain it? Vishnu Tattva. These are simple practicals. If you understand this, you can easily move into the zone of being. And that zone, things happen. And you can see all this, how it is interrelated. Why I insist so much on Upadesha Saram? Because Upadesha Saram straight gives you the Upadesha of you are not the doer. Verse 1. It begins from there. If it has to go till verse 30 to self-realization and moksha, mano, nasha and all that, the first verse is what? If that first verse you are not, your fundamentals are not strong, you cannot reach to the 30th. Very, very clear. But how we do? We listen to the first, okay, he's the creator. The next, okay. And we go on. We should try to see in that 30th verse also which is suiting us. This I like. This suits me. The other, no, I don't agree with this. Or it is very uncomfortable. Then throw away the Upadesha Saram. It is worth throwing. It is just a piece of trash papers in your hand. It has no value. Throw it away. Either if you hold on to it, you live it, or you throw it away. It is Raddi. If you do not understand its Tattva, it will behave like Raddi in your life. All these scriptures will be, but it will be of no use in the life. So getting straight, that is why I'm very, very clear in without mincing my words. And here also on this platform, I keep saying, if you are able to withstand all this, stay. Otherwise, move to those zones where you're comfortable. At least do somewhere. Be somewhere. There is no point just hanging around. We have hung around all our life. All our life we have been doing this nonsense. Don't do that nonsense here also. It's of no use. It will become a repetitive habit to do that. And here we are breaking all these habits, breaking all these notions. It's a hard work to break it out. Unconditioning, uncluttering, deconditioning, emptying ourselves. That is Nirlambha Yoga. How can you become a Nirlambha yogi if you don't even want to touch that huge boulders that we have built inside, huge rocks of belief? And somebody is trying to chisel it and you say, I don't, it's very painful. Then that rocks will be there. With that rocks, how can you go so heavy? And Shiva is saying, become supportless, become empty. That is why I say listen to Osho and all. The why I say is because every time you listen to such things, it's like a slap on our face. It's like straight hit. So either you get chiseled and broken, as Rumi says. Where it breaks is where the light enters. He says have heartbreaks and life breaks and all. Because wherever it is breaking, that crack, there is where the light enters, he says. Rumi, it means this one. So practical spirituality. Never hover around for time pass. And this is, I'm telling, not the space for time pass. So every month or two, I keep sending people, do you want updates or not? Because if they're not into the sessions or if they are not really interested, they have just kept it like a side by side, श्वास लेने के लिए, something like that. Then you can have drinks somewhere else. Keep having pegs from multiple religions, gurus, and all those things. They are like pegs. थोड़ी देर के लिए सांत्वना. But don't treat this like peg. These tattvas will either shatter you or it will liberate you. One of these two things can happen. There are many people who get shattered. And that shattering is for good only. I told you, no, anything that happens on this path is for the highest good. And that shattering is because of us. If we don't decide for it, see, there is a simple funda I'm telling. Understand this very clearly. I sit and close my eyes and pray to mother or father. Come into my life, save my life, liberate me. I'm stuck in this life. So many problems. Give me the strength. Blah, 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 we will do. And with full bhav, we will do. Okay. I'm not telling false. Real bhav will do because a desperate person will really have emotions. And they will cry. And now what will the Shakti do? As a response of that true bhava prayer, it will be get into action, into getting you out of it. And what is getting out of it? Because you're stuck in the daldal. It will straight come and pull you out of all that nonsense. And we are fond of nonsense. We will not leave it. वो tug of war में जो होता है suffering, that is what you call as suffering. One side the grace is pulling you, and one side your karma is pulling you. I used to tell this always. My life is a sandwich between these both, karma and grace. Those days I used to tell when I used to have intense suffering in this path. I used to say, karma doesn't allow me to live, and grace does not allow me to die. That was the situation. Prarabdha is not allowing me to live, and the grace is not allowing me to die. You imagine the situation, what's happening. So that grace, from where it is coming, it is my calling, my inner call. And that call is being responded, it's being answered. But I can't see it because I feel it should come, the answer should come in goody goody chocolate language. And that is where we fail. We think nothing is happening. Everything is happening. So if everything is happening, if that's the grace of God, we should come into that frame of mind. Everything is happening for my highest good. Because I am a spiritual seeker. My seeking is true. And that is the trust I have. If something is coming odd also, There must be something. I can't see it right now. There must be something. That is what makes one, okay, there must be something. There is divine play at will. Shut down my free will now. That shutting down my free will is called moving from doing to being. Being is divine will. Doing is your free will. So if you understand this tattva very clearly, you can settle down into. Okay, that's grace working. My own calling. My prayers are being answered. Now okay. That's called samarpana. That is surrender. Not what we otherwise call, oh, I am surrendered to my guru. And nothing happened if I said, oh, इस तरह का बकवास surrender करे तो क्या होगा? It will not happen only. Because the surrender also is wrong. And that is why I say, don't enter these rooms. I clearly tell, don't, because you'll get shattered sooner or later. And you will not stick around also. Because you'll come to test around this place and maybe यहाँ कुछ मिलेगा, वहाँ कुछ नहीं मिलेगा, एक फूटी कौड़ी नहीं मिलेगा यहाँ पे, कुछ भी नहीं मिलेगा. Now if I tell you nothing you are going to get, it's upon you. कुछ नहीं है तो क्या करना है फिर इधर क्यों? Why am I wasting my time? Go. That is the conclusion you should come to. Do or die situation now. Either I do it or I do it. My guru always said this. हाँ या ना. No बीच में लेकिन, maybe, शायद. Yes or no. Doing it or not. Black or white, no gray area. Then you'll have results. अगर लटके रहेंगे, कल देखेंगे, परसों देखेंगे, अभी थोड़ा बिजी है, अभी मेरा लाइफ इज बॉदरिंग मी, अभी आई हैव रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज. ओ माय गॉड, you have responsibilities. That is where the doer ego is coming from. So much of responsibilities you have taken. God also must have not taken so much responsibility. Have you ever seen God taking responsibility and telling, this is my whole world, I have to run this? Ever heard anywhere? He is quiet. And we, एक छोटी सी जिंदगी, इतना दो तीन वहां मिला है, and we take all ownership and I have to run my family, I have to raise my kids, I have to look after my wife, I have to look after my husband, my aging parents. Oh my God. As though this guy is not there or this girl is not there, the whole family is going to collapse. The world is, nothing will happen. I've told this many times. Nothing will happen. It is a mithya that you have stored in your head. Something will happen. Because if that you store, then you give this one too much importance. With that mithya, with that ignorance, you start living. I am everything. Because of me, my family is running. Because of me, this business is running. Because of me, my world is running. Because of you, nothing is running. That is what we did when we were doing that webinar. Didn't we realize into that? Go into that space, go into that tattva, and then realize where am I? What is it that I'm doing? What is it that I'm claiming actually? When you sit still and enter into that zone, you will see that you're nothing. You'll just see that life is happening. Your breath is happening, your heart is beating, digestion is happening, you are sweating, your brain is working, firing circuits, your nerves are supplying blood here and there, your systems, your chakras are pulling in pranas and supplying it also equally. What am I doing in this? Where is this big claim from? I am responsible for this life. I am not even responsible for this. I don't do anything apart from taking food and putting it to my mouth. There is nothing else I do. Even the potty also is not in your hand. You have to run when it comes. You can't say, you can't deny. That also you are helpless. Where is control? What is control? I can't control my own movements in my body. I can't, even this eating food also, if I'm hungry, I have to put. Something is asking me from within, I have to put. There also I am helpless. Can I say I will not eat? Try it. You will struggle. You will go and eat. There also you are forced to do something that is also against your wish. You don't want to. You upas. Ask the people who keep upas, vrat rakhte. They're struggling and dying inside. That also is against their will. जो चाह रहे वो हो नहीं रहा है जिंदगी में. What do we call? Where is this ownership coming from? It is a wrong understanding because we have never settled into this zone, never sat and contemplated. What? Who's running this? Am I running my family? Seriously? Have I given birth to children? Seriously? You give birth to children? You just popped out a body. Sorry. Just as you poop out, you popped out a body. That's also not in your hand. If you say, no, I'll keep it for one more month or one more day, one more minute also is not in your hand. That I want to hold it for 1 minute. What are we saying? I gave birth. Life is happy. Life is just happening without my permission and nobody cares. Life doesn't care for our permissions. I told you all these examples. Nobody asks for. So when you sit and actually, if you want to get into that being, what is being? Being is a zone where I know I am not the doer. So here I'm asking, what are we doing? What are we claiming that we are doing? What are we so proud of saying that I am running my family, I'm running my business, I'm running my this? You'll just see life is just happening through you. And when you realize life is happening through you, all that I'm saying is watch that. Observe how life is happening through you. That is called witness. That is what Shiva is doing. Shiva is exactly doing. Is he involved in anything? No way. Responsibility to dur, and he doesn't take responsibility. He's not taking responsibility. We heard that. It was in Gyanotra we were doing. And that surprises actually, because these are the eternal truths. We have assumed something for God. God is this way, that way. And here he is revealing his nature. Who's Parabrahman is telling? What is God is telling here? See, 48 verse of Sarvagyanatra. All activities prescribed are the work of Prakriti, the illusion. Who's Prakriti? Ma Prakriti, Shakti. All the works which is prescribed, all that is happening in this world is the work of Prakriti. This Prakriti is the source of all action. What we are saying? Doing. Action means doer, karta. The source is here. And here he says, I am immaculate, I am actionless. The wise man reflects on this and he is the knower of truth. That is what we are reflecting here on. We are trying to become wise men. He says the wise man reflects on this. Shiva is saying, I am immaculate, means I am divine. I am untouched, I am actionless. The one who can reflect on this and realize this is the knower of truth. "33, he says, embracing dispassion. What is dispassion? Detachment. This feeling of I am doing everything. And see, when you say I am doing everything, then those things become yours. I and mine comes from there. Mine will not come until there is an I. Only where there is an I, the mine will come. I am there, this belongs to me. That belongingness which you are calling is what you call as attachment. And that is coming from because the I is strong, the false I. So what is he saying here? Embracing dispassion. Any detachment, embracing detachment, and thus desisting from all karmic activities. The moment he says what? Embracing dispassion and thus desisting all karmic activity means when you embrace dispassion or embrace detachment, you automatically are desisting from all karmic activity. That karmic activity is coming from that attachment. See, in one line, the sutra, embracing dispassion and thus desisting from all karmic activity and shying away from society means who's the one who is in the society? The doer. I have to do so much. I have to run my business. I have to run this work. I have to look after the job. I have to run my country. This person, the one who's running the society, the runner, the doer, is shying away from society. One should thereafter ever meditate upon the self within oneself. Be aware of this, is what he says. Be aware of this, he says. This karmic activity doesn't mean not do. This is from the one who's feeling that he's doing. Who's the one feeling? This one who says, I am responsible, I am dependent, people are dependent on me, I have to take care, I am looking after, I have given birth, I have given job to somebody. That I who is taking the claim, ownership, is telling that is the problem. I was trying to find out that where he says, I am not involved. And very beautifully he said that. This is all the work of Shaktis. I was never immersed in it and I will never be immersed in it. That point is very important for this session because in Kalagyan also he says that. Yeah, Kalagyan I can read that. That's very, very clear. I know where it is. Kalagyan 26 he says very clearly, the one who is completely discarding anything, the creation of the Shakti, right from the Shakti to all the creation of the Shakti, anybody who can discard it, have Shunya Bhav towards it. बोले ना हम भाव में उलझ जाते हैं एंड भाव में क्यों उलझते हैं देखो why are we stuck in this bhav right from Shakti to any of the lokas? It is because I want something. Dekhna, contemplate, reflect right now on it and see. Anything that you are connecting to the Divine Mother or any of her Swarupas, there are hundreds and thousands of her Swarupas. Shaktis, this Shakti, that Shakti, all kind of Swarupas. Any one also you catch in it, you have a particular motive. Why will somebody go and worship Lakshmi? Understood? Why somebody goes to Kali? Understood? Why somebody is worshipping Saraswati? Understood? It's all understood. There is something that I want. That is why Shiva is saying, you will get into the drama of creation, perseverance, preservance, and destruction. Everything in life, please understand, anything you move into the Shakti zone, what does he say? The whole Prakriti is the Shakti, Sankalpa of the Shakti. So the moment you move into that zone, you start the whole thing. The one who creates is simply into that aspect, Brahma Tattva. And what is going to follow 100% is the Vishnu Tattva. Guaranteed. You give birth to a life, Brahma Tattva. Now you have to sustain it. Sustain it. If you go into one cycle, you have to sustain it till whenever you can. Yeah, Shilpa, thank you. You said it's in 47. Yeah. 47 Sarva Gyanottara. Whether going forward or returning, I'm not the one that moves. Shiva says. I'm not the one that moves is Shakti. Please remember this. There is something within you. You are that something which doesn't move. Nischala Tattva. The self doesn't move. It is there inside, it is there outside. Yesterday we experienced it. From doing to being webinar. You experienced it for almost more than 1 hour. How you are inside, how that self is inside, outside, everywhere. It's that is Shiva Tattva. Simple. You're straight face to face with that God Tattva. So he says whether going forward and returning, this is all the play of Shakti. I'm not that. He is Nischala. He's there, everything. In everything is there, but he's not moving. Forward or back. When inquired into, there is no going or coming. When you inquire, yesterday we inquired. Who comes, who goes? When you are in that state. Yesterday somebody sent me a message. Beautiful message. There is that God here. I'll just complete this. It says, when inquired into, when I deeply inquire into, I see there is no coming or there is no going. And then he says, in this ever-changing dharma of Prakriti, the cause of illusive creation. In this ever-changing means nirantar it is changing. Not one thing is, you see in nature, the creation of nature, nothing is stable. Even the Shana. Right now in the Shana, you see the whole world is changing. Every second it is moving. Thought is changing. Every second, everything in this Prakriti is moving. You, me, everything. You can see in this moment, even in this moment, right now, this Shana, what is happening, it is not the previous Shana. A new thought has come, a new feeling has come. Every moment. So he says, in this ever-changing dharma of Prakriti, which is the cause of illusive creation, he's blaming it now. Blaming in the sense he's pointing out, he's opening, realizing that thing that in this ever-changing dharma of Prakriti, which is the cause of all this illusive creation, this Maya, the cause of all the Maya. He says, I was never immersed, nor am I now. Clearly. And these are the sutras, these are the secrets given to Karthik and Murugan, his son. His son is nothing but wisdom. That we explained very clearly. Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, and Kriya Shakti. Ichha Shakti is Shakti, a Chitta. Ichha hui, it went and created. That is creation is Kriya. Same format. Microcosm, you look into your life. Andar se, Ichha utpan hui, you go and do something. Now you'll understand why Bhagavan Nityananda is telling constantly desire is the problem. Why Buddha says. Because the moment Ichha, Brahma Tattva comes, guarantee you will run and Kriyaman ho jaoge. Action comes always followed by desire. If there is no desire, no action. Simple. And what are we talking? Action is doing. So no desire, no doing. Simple. And this is what he is telling. All the activities that are prescribed are the work of Prakriti, the illusions. All these activities, whatever Gatiman is happening, all this is the work of Prakriti, the illusion he adds in that. वो भी real नहीं है. This Prakriti is the source of all action. Again he is repeating it. This Prakriti is the source of all action. Source means जहां से शुरू हुआ सब काम. He says, I am immaculate. I am actionless. The wise man reflects. He is the knower of truth. For him, there is no bondage. 49. Of the delusive Prakriti. This Prakriti cannot hold him bondage. He is not bonded by it. He is free from it. So he says there is for him, there is no bondage of this delusive Prakriti. Any Mahamaya, the Maya, not Mahamaya, Maya. He has earned the name of the liberated one. He's talking about himself. He has earned the name of the liberated. He is liberated. He cannot come in the catch of any aspect of the Shakti. He is free from Shakti. He will never be touched by the defects spoken of as the evolution of Prakriti. Evolutes or evolution. He can never be touched by the defects, he says. Defects of Prakriti. So I'm hoping you are sitting with some pen, book or pen and then noting it down, because these will help you in reminders. So yesterday in the sessions we made some notes and I told I'll put some things that I'm doing it here only. So you can note that. So those who have done the session, they will find it super duper helpful. Connect that with this, all the notes of that to this. I had very good feedbacks actually. There are many people who wrote continuously about their expressions, and uh, these are very overwhelming states of consciousness what you experienced. Most of you are very regular practitioners who wrote these things. And that Nischala Tattva is coming because of that practice of awareness. You have got a grip on it. Now, if you can, while we are speaking here in any satsang, if you can just translate and if you can enter into that space, understand the Nischala Tattva is happening. Because until you are Nischala, you cannot get into dhyana, samadhi, and all those things. Only when Nischala Tattva is happening can you enter into these meditative states. So that Nischala Tattva is a great blessing. Don't take that for granted. It's a great, even if you don't see any other, even if you see many other mysterious things happening in your life, दाद मत दो. कुंडलिनी जागृत हो रहा है, you are seeing something, visions you are seeing, darshans you are getting, you are having an astral travel, you are able to read somebody's mind, and the Shakti is so prevalent, it is making you do this and that. See this? Shakti is making you do this and that. Just be very neutral to all those things. Those are not the achievements. In the yogic field, these are great achievements. But this is related to the byproducts of what we are looking into. You will understand the nature of Shiva consciousness, the tattva of that being. He is not interested in all these things. And he says, if you get interested, that is when you will get entangled in it. What did I say? I have a connection to any of the moving tattvas, chanchala tattvas. You call it divine or whatever. Anything moving, you will get moving. Guaranteed. You can never be still. When you hold on to chanchalta, you will become chanchal. How can you be nischal? When you hold on to this one who is nischal, you will become nischal. That is what he is saying. You will become me. And in the end, what he says, I will grant you my supreme awareness. That is what you will learn, he says. But for that, you have to aim at the Nischal Tattva, not the Chanchal Tattva. Chanchal comes out of desires. So there are many, I don't know which to read and all that, but they're all good. I don't want to take names, but they're all good. See, one lady sent me this. She's from out of India. She's here in India right now, and she's traveling around. And she went to Kashi, Banaras, Varanasi, and all this is happening very simultaneously. She's there. She had some experience, then she came, and she's hearing here something. So something has struck her like lightning, and in this, she's trying to express it, but I can understand. I'll just share it with you how the Shiva Tattva, how life is actually guiding, and how the whole universe can guide you if you are in that bracket. But you have to get into that bracket, that serious bracket. Then you will see all those things happening from all ends. But if it is, again, I'm telling you, if it is for some mundane things, then you will get lost in that. You'll be just happy with that experience. And but you're it will get carried away. If you just look apart from all these things and stay centered. She says, Bhaiya, just thought of sharing something with you, with you only. That is why I'm not taking a name. I took part in some event, and some event in Kashi. Some unknown person, all in white, radiant, with Vibhuti and Rudraksh and all, came straight to me and said, "You don't know me. I have come to bless you." These you will find many people. There might be quacks also. I'm not talking about that. Many people will come and talk all these things. I'm talking about something deeper. He says, "You will reach your goal and are blessed." In Tamil, he said, "Oi senduduve." Literal meaning is you will die. In Tamil, he said this, you will die. And she took it very lightly. Although I got what he said, due to my nature of joking, I smilingly said, I still have got things to do here. Suddenly, to my surprise, he became a bit serious and he said, "You have come alone and you will go alone. None came for you, you did not come for others. All relationship is an illusion." And so on, so on. He went on telling. I was taken aback because at that place or the group of people, there were not of this kind. Not this kind of, he seemed something different. Yet this message got a little hammered inside me. And then she told about some other things and all that. And yesterday, when we were doing this, it struck her probably because it was the same words what we were doing. When we entered into that deep space that I was telling, find out now. From this angle, you find out. This perspective, you find out what belongs to you. What is it that is yours or that I claim is mine? Nothing belongs to you here, and you belong to no one. 49. Kalagyan. I alone am. No one belongs to me, nor do I belong to anyone else. I can see no one who can call me his, neither can I see anyone who is mine. I'm all alone. Shiva says. All alone means don't immediately take your imagination of Shiva sitting with a trishul, depressed, without the Shakti, and saying, I'm all alone. Background, some song is going on. Ki mera koi nahi hai. It is not that scenario. Okay. He is referring to this Sat. You can see it is supportless. The same tattva which we had entered inside yesterday, and from where we are looking at, what is it? Who belongs to me, and where do I belong to? Can you see what we are doing? That experience was something, and here Kalagyan is the same stuff, and here somebody is having the same experience. And even if she's in that Maya, still so hard. Somebody is coming there out of the blue, walking straight to her and telling, you'll die. You'll die means what? You, the false, you will die. That is what we are discussing all this time. The false I must die, the ego must die. And so he said, you will die and you are blessed. And what was her response? Knee jerk response, what we regularly have. No, I have got what to do here. A lot of things. Aa gaya upar. I don't want to leave so early. And then he immediately reminded, what belongs to you here? Who is it that you say is yours? Can you see? This is how the divinity also comes, and if you are ready, it will hammer from all end. Everywhere you'll see this same message is coming. If you are in that zone, that is what will catapult you. That is what is called as kripa. This is what is called as grace. हम क्या ग्रेस को बोलते हैं? मुझे बच्चा चाहिए था, कृपा मिल गई, बच्चा हो गया. That is not कृपा, तुच्छ है. That is all your mundane desires, swarth, selfishness, fulfillment. So all our bhakti, I ask God, beggars, give me this, give me that. Apart from this, anything else have we asked? Do we have the guts to say, don't give me this, because this will create problem for me? Those are vairagis. Sannyasis are like that, vairagis. Because they know if something comes into my lap, creation has begun. Now to sustain, a great yogi, great sannyasi, left everything, went and stayed in the jungle, alone meditating. He was so satisfied and happy. He has quit everything, given up everything. He is a true vairagi. Nothing can touch him. And he's sitting there. One cat comes. He's fond of it. Why one cat means you cannot. Oh, I'm a yogi. I'm compassionate. So I say, okay, it's an animal. Compassionate, kindness. Start touching it, patting it. The cat circumambulates, move there, takes his attention all the time. And slowly, slowly, every time he opens his eyes after meditation, whenever he's waking up for his food, a cat is there. Now habit. Now the habit is what? Every time the eyes is opening, the first thing he will do is look for the cat. See how it catches. This is how the Maya gets in. Creation is beginning. And what was he? He said, I have left everything. I'm clear now. In the jungle also there is Maya. The cat comes. And enough. One little affection. इससे क्या होता है? अरे, small affection, what is that going to do? And then he starts taking care of it, feeding it. Because now meow, 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 meow all the time. I have to give it milk. So every time now he's morning, evening, he's thinking, oh, uska khane ka time ho gaya. I have to give it something. He's going to bring milk. Then he's bringing milk from here and there, and then he's like tensed. Arey, it is eating up my time, meditation. I got to go and bring milk from here and there. So he'll say, how if I put a cow here? Then he somewhere he tells the villagers and he gets a cow arranged. Now milk ka problem khatam ho gaya. Now the cow has come, he has to milk it every time. That's another big headache. I say, I have to sit milking. Who will sit milking now? I'm losing my time in meditation. I say, let me keep somebody. नहीं गांव वाले आते हैं उसको बोला प्लीज देख लो प्लीज हेल्प मी इन दिस सेवा करो मेरी and she begins with the nishkam seva and she gets into that and दूध निकाल रही है and all this stuff and now he is keeping an attention because क्या पता ये गटक जाए या बिल्ली को नहीं मिले या or she's taking milking the cow but the cat is still doing some meow meow somewhere so he's like irritated what happened why is he crying why have you fed it or not no I fed it I don't know why it's doing it he got now into all vyavasaya samsara he's got into all the worldly activities why does Shiva say shy away from society for this only and then now he wanted to take away attention from the cat he brought the cow to take attention away from the cow he brought the woman now he can't miss the woman he's looking at the woman he falls in love with her हो गया फिर क्या नहीं मैरीज है झंझट ही नहीं वो करुणा उसको आना जाना क्या है यही रहने दो उसको इट विल बी इजियर एवरीथिंग बंदोबस्त सबका बंदोबस्त खुद का भी बंदोबस्त करते करते वो भी रह गई फिर क्या होगा आगे वही फिर बच्चे पैदा हुए थे आगे यू कैन इमेजिन you can imagine how why Shiva is talking about these tattvas is this is just an example of how you can read But you imagine there are millions of such desires all the time playing in our mind. We do not know what will lead where. इसका अंत किधर है? We will think it's a helpless thought. तो क्या है? Have a desire. Have a desire and go and fulfill it. We think it's very easy thinking fulfillment. Fulfillment is not a problem. Brahma Tattva is not difficult. It's very easy. A cat came, the milk is Brahma Tattva. He is creating one after the other. All the creation is happening. Line up. But to preserve it, maintain it, cat को maintain करने के लिए cow. To maintain the cow, woman. Now to maintain the woman, he jumped in. हो गया ना maintenance. Vishnu Tattva. So only Bhagavan Nityananda says, careful of Vishnu. This is for people who are seeking intense liberation. That is why I'm telling these are not time pass tattva. यहाँ time pass नहीं मिलेगा. वही तुच्छ की वही चीजें है तो there are plenty of other places. You can keep yourself entertained and they will provide you with all the support also. How to preserve the Vishnu Tattva. What are we talking here is straight the Shiva Tattva, which is beyond all these things. So until you aim for that, you cannot get out. So if there is frustration, I am not able to get out, it is because simply your aim is still in the Shakti to locus. Somewhere you find out, you investigate, you will come to know. Still something is there. Why? Because of the hidden vasanas, the desires. And life is again here, you are fulfilling the desires and then you are praying to Divine Mother, oh please remove me out of this. Mother cannot remove you out of this. Mother will give you something for your satisfaction, which is what we are asking, but that is still in the chanchalta. It will still keep you involved only in this. If you really want to pray, pray to Mahamaya, not to Mother Maya. Shakti is Maya. If you want to get out of it, you have to link to Mahamaya. Who's this new deity now? What will she give me? Gaya Kamsik. She will not give you anything. She will give you wisdom. What we are discussing here. This is coming with the grace of Mahamaya. All these talks. Jnana Margis, Jnana Shakti is Mahamaya's Kripa. When this is because until you have Mahamaya's Kripa, you cannot get moksha, they say. This is what it is. Until you have this Jnana. So if you want to ever pray, pray for this Jnana. If you pray to Mahamaya, the form of divinity, Mother Maya, Mahamaya, then that will come in the form of Jnana Shakti. If you pray to that Lord Shiva Nirguna Nirakara for this Jnana Shakti, Skanda will come into your life. It's Shiva's light. That is also Jnana Shakti. Whichever aspect you take. It all depends on what. That is why the Jnana Marga is called the culmination, the last of all the paths. Anybody who enters into the Jnana Marga is getting the wisdom, the clarification, all the clarity. All the other parts are meant to take you to that zone. See now, see, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raj Yoga, all are meant to take you to Mukti, liberation of the self only. So it has to come and end in inquiry of the self, interest in the self. Till that time comes, ये अभी भी अधूरा है, अभी खत्म नहीं हुआ इसका काम. And many people cannot get khatam because they are having wrong ideas in all this. So that is where the trouble comes from. So yesterday I was telling, of all the tattvas, silence is one. The more you can attune into the silence. And silence, I told you yesterday, clearly, silence is not absence of words, it is absence of thoughts. Now, how do I maintain silence? Practice awareness. You have seen it already. Whenever you are in awareness, your mind goes blank, still, you're lost somewhere. Absence of thoughts. You practice awareness again and again, and you will see suddenly there is no, become aware of that no thought state because you are not registering it. You are getting into that mode, but you are not registering it. I have entered into that no thought because you just enjoy that bliss and you come out. In awareness, see that moment and catch yourself in that state of no thought. Awareness can see it at times, and you'll see that, oh, there's no thoughts. And some thoughts will be there, but you're not getting it. You know it's there, but you're not getting clarity in it. That is that state of no thought. It cannot affect you. So you have to keep registering that I have entered into that state. So you'll understand what is this no thought state. That is silence. That cannot be another thought, huh, where you're thinking, oh, am I into, then that's a thought. That is a feeling, what I'm telling. You are aware, you're conscious that there is no thought. You're not thinking there is no thought. Okay, it's a very sukshma thing. So silence is one aspect. Keep practicing as much as possible this awareness practices. You'll see stillness, nischalta, and the silence, mauna, is a byproduct of awareness. Yeah, that you can see already. Many people who are sitting also, they become still when we are in the satsang because awareness has got activated. That makes the mind still. And whenever you are able to sit in that silence, simple things, just be aware of life playing out itself. Just see, observe everything in your body, outside your body. First, begin with your body. Breath, where is your connection? What are you doing? You're not doing anything. Everything is just happening. You'll see that it's a factory that is running without the owner. And I'm thinking this is the owner. It is perfectly running without me. While I'm sleeping, also, it is working. And I think I'm needed everywhere. Here is the truth being revealed. You're not needed. Your even activity or your attention also is not needed here. Even without your attention, we can do. So, what is that is doing? That's the cosmic intelligence. That's the force of God. So, there you have to sit and realize that, oh, this God is working. Because otherwise, how can we say it is divine will? You have to realize this. So, silence yourself through the awareness practice and then simply observe. First, you get into all this peripheral vision and this, that, and you get into that state of this. And whenever you feel all the thoughts have died down, now you can just reflect. We'll go into this. Use your own thought only. In thought only, ask yourself. Reflect on your body, feel. Question yourself. Question the existence. Where am I involved in all this? So slowly what will happen is you will get a grip of truth. ये सुनने से ये श्रवण and manthan, the nididhyasan, the practice, abhyasa, that will give you perfect conviction. Your subconscious mind, your being will absorb that truth because now you're having a first-hand experience. You're not just listening to philosophy, it's happening. Many people do it simultaneously when I'm talking. That's nididhyasana. Shravana, it is called. Shravana is not hearing, it is listening. You listen and simultaneously that prakriya is happening in your being. That is Shravan. So the tattva of Upadesha Saram is Shravana, please understand. Upadesha means what? Advice. It is the Saram, the essence of all advice. These are advices given. And for advices to be taken, any Upadesha to be taken, you see, the Lord is giving Upadesha to Shakti. Lord is giving Upadesha to Kartikeyan. The Dakshinamurti gave Upadesha to the rishis. There is all Upadesha. They are all the instructions being given. But the instructions will not work until the listener is in Shravana mode. Until the Chitta is listening to Pati Parmeshwara who's giving this wisdom, if she is not in a Shravana mode, she cannot understand it. That is why Shiva says, first, I will tell you the secrets, first settle down. Have no doubts, remove all your fears, and sit down here completely settled and listen to me. Here he says, understand the one who is not able to realize this truth in his heart by the knowledge of spiritual wisdom known as Kala Jnana can never attain it by studying countless crores of Shastras. That is the first word that he tells the lady, the Chanchal Tattva. First, samajh lo, what I am telling you, if you don't understand this real truth in your heart of hearts, no other scriptures, countless crores of Shastras you read, you will not realize it. Simple, straight. So now what he's doing? He's pulled up the whole attention of Shakti. Ki there is nothing now more important. Be fully here. Taken the presence. Then he says, therefore, cast aside all the fears on following this path. Put aside all the fears that you have, inhibitions that you have. Put it all aside. Shed all your doubts. Giving up the attachment and desire to be anything for anything. Giving up the attachment or desire for anything. See, here again he's talking to tattva, desire, attachment. Giving up the attachment, giving up the desire for anything. At least now, when you're listening to the Upadesha, you have hundreds of things. So if you're sitting here and the mind is running around, oh, कुकर में ये रखा है, चावल रखा है, ओ कुत्ते को खाना नहीं खिलाया. If you are in that mode, that is not Shravan. Your attention is not here. So he's telling, give up all your attachment desire for anything and be ardent in seeking the ultimate knowledge with wholehearted devotion and with a clear mind. That is what yesterday we discussed. First, develop this tattva of realizing and understanding the truth of Upadeshasaram, Kalagyan, and Sarvagyanatra. Until you have a conviction that this is coming from that spirit, that being, and this is the ultimate truth, there is nothing apart from this, you cannot get fully involved in it. It will be a time pass, another time pass. That is why he's taking full attention. And bar he's telling in all the phrases, same words. Be aware of this, he says. Know this, he says. Without any doubt. There is no doubt about it. He is ending all these verses with this because the mind is chanchala. Immediately it will create another doubt in the mind. So he is hammering there. There is no doubt about it. This is the ultimate truth. Again and again. And one place he says, thrice I am saying, this is the truth, this is the truth, this is the truth. Imagine, even Shiva has to put so much of effort there. Just on joking part, I'm saying, he has to put so much of effort. Because the mind is chanchala and he knows the prakriti of Shakti. So he's repeating it, and to him he's talking. Her he's talking. The chanchala tattva. So you can understand the self has to communicate to our false I all the time. The ego, the mind. The mind has to sit to listen to the Upadesha of the self. What practice we did yesterday is just that. When you tune into that, who's tuning? See the words. When you tune into the Sat or the Shiva consciousness, who's this you? There is the mind. So when the mind tunes into the Satta, it has to tune without doubts, without any desires, without any attachments. That's what the condition is saying. Without that, if you tune in there and stay in the Sat, all this wisdom will just start flowing into that mind. We don't get this wisdom because we sit half-heartedly. We don't get these downloads because it's half-hearted attention. Something is running outside, some desire, some attachment is running. That is understood. You might have that, but at least during satsang, at least during your practice, whenever you are practicing, उतना तो एक फॉर्मनेस होना चाहिए कि 1 घंटा बैठे तो 1 घंटा, आधा घंटा बैठे तो आधा, 15 मिनट बैठे तो 15 मिनट. But we don't have that. Even 15 minutes we do, we will have hundreds of things. Our mind is still there. Something is still lurking out. So until you pull that chitta to your own satta, you will never have downloads. You will never have inner guidance. The inner guru will never activate. Who's this inner guru? This only, Satpurusha, which is inside. That will never activate. Apodeepo bhava means instead of putting your mind on outside things, you put the same mind inside and the inner light, you get guidance from there. So some more points I'll say. One I told you, observe this life. Have the habit of observing what's happening see, first you begin with your body. You see everything and acknowledge, have this first-hand experience. Then you start observing outside. Begin with your home. What all have I really created here? Or have these things just happened to me? Did I really create these people? These children did I create? My husband or wife, did I really create? You'll be shocked to see that they also just happened to you. Without any idea. They just entered your life when it was time. They entered, no idea. At that moment, did you even know that you will produce children with this person? How many you will produce, when you will produce? Nothing. You don't know the next Shana what. So every moment is a life of surprise. Surprise, somebody came into your life. Surprise, this happened. Surprise, that happened. Surprise, the child was born. It's all surprise. You don't know. So life is just happening through you. Observe these things first in your body, then in your mind if you can, and then in the outside world. What is happening? Then expand it to the whole consciousness. Look at the planets. Look at the galaxies. Who's handling who? How are they all standing in one place? They're all sthit in one place. I don't think I have that image here. I had one image that I was looking at. I was so surprised at it, about the galaxy. Just today I saw that. I said, wow, here it is. The earth is rotating on its axis at a speed of 1670 kilometers per hour. Right now, it is spinning at the rate of 1670 kilometers an hour. That means close to 45 kilometers, almost close to 1 kilometer per second. In this speed, can you imagine we are not thrown? Nobody is flying out or anything. And there was another, the revolution, what's happening, the rotation around the sun, what's happening in its own orbit, at this speed. The rotation, it was something like 40,000 kilometers an hour speed, 40 or 45,000 kilometers an hour speed. It is spinning around the sun. Can you imagine that speed? Right now it's happening. Who's doing this? Where is my contribution in this? What am I doing in this? So you go on expanding into the cosmos. There also you investigate. You will see your helplessness. That is very important. Your helplessness is very important. You should know you're nothing. You should realize again and again. You should realize there that annihilation of that I will go on. I'm nothing. Nothing is in my hands. There that divine will start. There that being will start coming. The doing will end. So as I reminded you, doing doesn't mean I'm not doing anything in work, life. I'm doing everything as it is. But this ownership that I am doing will go. Then whatever you're doing, your work, your chores, and whatever responsibilities, everything so-called responsibility that you're doing, you'll know that I am not doing. There's something else doing. The same that is rotating this planet and still keeping everything else intact. That power, if it can handle the whole cosmos so brilliantly without any form of destruction happening there and sustain life so beautifully, where is the difficulty in understanding it cannot sustain my this small life? So repeatedly get into these zones. Look at life as wonder. There's another point. Look always in awe. Everything, every second, every moment, wherever your attention turns. Look at everything in surprise and awe. Investigate. You see a plant, go deeper. That's a seeker of truth. You're seeing the truth in it. You're looking at it, budding, flowering. Look at a caterpillar. Today I was just cleaning my thing there and a caterpillar just walked by. It was about to get crushed, but I saw it suddenly, a black one. Usually it's a very yucky kind of thing. But when you're looking at it, first thing I was thinking, oh, a future butterfly. It's going to be one of the most beautiful creature on this earth soon, sometime. But now it looks something else. But you look at, oh, what is it? that converts. Who gives the intelligence to this caterpillar that it has to become a butterfly? Nobody. Happens. Life is happening, blossoming. So look at life at a wonder. Be awe at all things, small things, big things, everything. You will develop this habit of seeing Shiva in everything. This is a secret I'm telling you. When you have this awe, wonder, if somebody is talented, look at the talent, how that talent is functioning through it. See somebody gifted, look at that. You see somebody's evilness, look at how that Shakti and how that karma is playing it, how one is getting molded into that. So what you're doing is you're not grossly just stuck up with what they do and just judging them. You're going deeper into that. And what happens with this quality, you're seeing the Shiva in them again. You're seeing the godliness in them. So the judgments will drop, these frictions will drop, all these things. This is one habit. Look at everything in awe and wonder. These are the things that I have noticed that helped me and is helping me. So I'm sharing those things with you. Always become aware of your guilt and forgiveness. Very important. Whenever you are feeling guilty and whenever you have an ability to forgive or not forgive, become aware. What happens there is you will immediately start resolving all your unresolved issues. Most of the karmic debts end up in non forgiveness and guilt. Guilt and non forgiveness, these come from your past. Worry comes from your attention on the future. Simple. Doubts and worries and fear. Doubt, worry, fear is most of the time when your attention is on the future. And if you're looking at things in the past, then you'll see most of the time it will be guilt. Most of the time it will be guilt and non acceptance. You're not able to say, this happened to me, that happened to me. You feel guilty about yourself. I didn't do this, I didn't do that. That person didn't do this. There's always this guilt. Or I did something good to them, I did something bad to them. Oh, I could have done this, I didn't do it at that time. It's all gone. Past is gone. You can't help it. It is all in the moment. So if you just concentrate and become aware of this guilt factor within you, you'll start dropping it. And forgiveness. This is very important. If you are not able to forgive somebody, big catch. That's a big catch. It will keep you stuck. So you don't have to forgive. I see, remember, mark my words, what I'm saying. I never said go and forgive. I never said it. I said become aware of your non forgiveness. Whenever you're unable to forgive, just become aware of that factor. Oh, I'm not forgiven this person. Oh, this is still there in my mind. अभी भी इसके साथ खुन्नस है. That's all. I'm not saying go further and go do force yourself with forgive. No, just become aware of it. What will happen is that it will weaken the power of that non-forgiveness. And over a period of time, you'll start laughing over that. It will become a joke. And you'll see that what is this about non-forgiveness? Because you'll not hold that grudge. That grudges will go. When you become aware of the grudge, because you automatically remind yourself, I'm a follower of the seeker of the truth. I'm moving towards that zone. So automatically you're reminding yourself, I'm a seeker. And I shouldn't do this, I should do that. I'm not telling you that. I'm a seeker every time. So inside only you will feel properly. Whether should you judge, should you grudge, all those things are there. So it is a prakriya that will happen inside. Become aware. Non-forgiveness, guilt, khaskar, guilt and non-forgiveness makes you stuck. And as much as possible, have no agendas. Whenever you're doing something, just look at the motive in that. Because normally we have agendas. Agendas means Shakti to Lokas. I'm not telling again, give up your agendas. Don't do. Not telling. I'm just telling become aware of it. Whenever you're doing something, immediately if you question the motive, the intention behind it, immediately if it is impure intention, you'll not feel like doing it. There also you're reminding, I'm a seeker. I'm a seeker, practitioner of this awareness. I cannot hide anything. Now, those who practice the self will know what is Shiva consciousness. It is there in every atom, in every thought. He said what? Sarvagyanatra. I am in every thought. I am in no thought also. So, where can I escape? Where can I escape? That lens which is watching me. So, if I'm aware, I'm a seeker all times. I'm aware that somebody is aware of me. That's a very delicate thing. Huh? You can enter into trance if you can become aware of the one who is becoming aware of you. And it comes with practice. All these things, all the time, you are knowing that somebody is aware of me. Just having the knowing, somebody is aware. I cannot escape. Somebody. So all this mind will not be able to play a lot of games. And the day it catches a good grip, and the day you just turn to see who is this one who's becoming aware of me, you will be one with that. And it can have different experiences depending on different people. Many people have different kind of experience. That is experiencing God. So you are using your awareness to become aware of someone who is aware of you. God is always aware of you. We are not aware. You are not aware of God being aware of you. I mentioned that in Tirunamala retreat, there is a room. People were paying attention while I'm saying. Shravan is happening. But sometimes when I'm getting into the core of explaining something, somebody can easily get distracted by the most stupid thing. As stupid as one lizard is moving on the wall and they look, where is this going? Cut, cut. At that moment. So you can understand whether the lizard is important or that tattva is important. Whenever we are in the peak of some realization, Raj Lakshmi will come in and knock and open the door and bring juice for us, organic juice. And everybody's like, I said, Aayega bhai. It will come to you. Why are you going behind the glass? It will come in your lap, it will come in your hand. Why are you doing what do I need to do now? Attention. It will come. I like jokingly, and then everybody will laugh out. So the tattva we are practicing there also is that juice at that moment important, that you can, you can lose, you can compromise even that what you've come to do for a petty glass of juice. Can you see how the tension is? Or Pittu comes in, the dog comes in, gone, attention gone behind it. One lizard goes up, you're gone behind it. Are we so vulnerable? That shows our life. So you can clearly understand the life of a being. What must be happening in daily life to such a person? One lizard gone this way, one dog gone this way, one juice gone this side. What must be happening in the head when there are thoughts that are shooting from all directions? Obviously, they will be getting entangled in it all the time, attend the AV, and they'll be like stressed out. So much of thoughts. Thoughts are not a problem. Your attention to those thoughts are a problem. So you train yourself not to give attention to it. That is neutrality. That is being. So let it be. What does Ramana says? Let the karma be. Let the vasana be. Is he telling go and fight your karmas? Go and destroy, go and heal, go and remove it out, go and burn it out. Let it be where it is. Let it do whatever it wants to. You do what you're supposed to do. You abide in the self. You abide in your awareness. So that's the only practice we are doing here. We are not burning anything. We are not destroying it. We are not running in the. That is all doing. And what does Shiva say? Any activity you move into that Shakti zone as a doer will keep you entangled in that. New games all the time. So the agenda, watch out this agenda. So there also I was telling, yes, I was talking about this tattva, becoming aware of the one who's aware of you. So I gave them the example, you are sitting in this hall, in this room is your mind. These distractions are the thoughts. And I am aware of you constantly in this room. So you can treat this as Shiva consciousness. Your being that is watching you, but you are not aware. You are distracted in this, running behind this and that, but there is a Shiva consciousness who's watching you all the time. So I know what you're doing. I know you are aware of that lizard. I know that the lizard is running there. I know the dog is coming. I know the juice is coming. I'm aware of the juice. I'm aware of everything. That's Shiva consciousness. Aware of everything. Aware of even your distractions. I'm just telling. You became aware of the lizard. You became aware of the juice. You became aware of the dog. Just try to become aware of the one who's aware of you. That is that zone. We are aware of all these things. We have never turned our attention to us who's watching. That is what we are training ourselves here. What we did in Sarvagyanatra in this webinar yesterday. Completely that. Becoming aware of the one who is aware of you at all times. And that one who is aware of you is not distracted. What Shiva says, I'm not involved in the delusive work of the Shakti. In that illusion, I was never Zimbas, I was not. He's detached, just watching. So, so they could understand that very clearly from that example of what are we trying to talk about. So the first excuse that came was, oh, we are not looking at the dog. The dog is coming and licking, what to do? It is coming and touching and moving and do. I said that dog is always living with me. It's all the time when I'm there, all the time it's with me. And it's coming into the room to be there. But have you seen it centering the door? It's coming inside every time. Have you seen the dog coming to me? Anytime. You can see, otherwise it's always playful with me and all. But in the room, it's not. Why? Simple truth is, I'm not giving its attention. You are giving it attention, it is coming and wagging. You look at Pitu, that dog like this, his eyes will become ekdam gleamy, his ears will go behind, his tail will start shaking. When you look at it, you don't look at it. You look what you're doing, what it will do anything, it will not do anything, it is helpless. So it is not coming to me because if I look at it, it will come to me. That is the same what I'm telling of awareness. What you give attention to, you get caught up there. If you are awareness and something you give attention, it will come to you. You don't give it attention, it will not harm you. So check out these agendas, whatever agendas, whenever you do something, keep a note. Keep a note means not write. Keep a note from the observe, keep attentive, be attentive. Whenever you are into a new work or saying something, doing something, immediately become aware of what is my intent, what am I actually trying to do here. I go to a temple and I'm praying. Become aware of what am I praying for? What is this for? Investigate there only. What am I asking? What will I get? You'll see it is suddenly something very absurd. So suddenly you will know the motive gadbada. Oh my God, this is an impure intention. Otherwise, if you would have not been aware, you will sit with that impure intention and feel and believe this was a divine thing that I did and gave. So develop this awareness at all time to catch motives in whatever you do. That's another point. Realize that you don't know everything. That's another thing. And you don't have to know everything. Give up this habit of wanting to know everything. Not needed. Even the secrets of the universe. If it comes to you, fine. If it doesn't come to you, fine. Have no pull or urge towards knowing everything. That will lead you to not becoming that perfectionist. and try not even trying to make up things. Sometimes you might not know things and you might make up, say you know it. And it's all false delusions of the mind. It keeps creating all this khayali pulav just to be in the knowing. And you might get lost in unwanted things. You will go and investigate the whole of internet into everything. One post I will put. Next week we are doing this. Immediately everybody will go and investigate in the Google and go on deep and finding out that. What is the need? What is that need? And aisa bhi nahi ki they will find it out and they'll get what is there. They will not get it also anyways. But that urge to know everything, I have to know, then I'm perfect. Not needed. If it comes to you, I'm telling you, I'm not here sitting and hunting any scriptures. If it comes in my hand, I read it, I distribute it. Simple. If it is not, there is no urge to go and search for something. So there what happens is it settles you down. You will simply not waste your time and energy and focus on unwanted things. Because you can see, if you get into investigation zone, you might see in the internet, you'll sit and investigate and you will go through all the Brahmanda and come back here, where the point is one simple thing here. Like I said, what is the simple message of Kala Jnana? We used 65 verses, 4 days into 3 hours, 12 to 14 hours we spent only to understand that Shiva is telling Shakti, shut up. That's all. But how much we have to play? And that also he says. Shiva says, in Sarva Jnanotra it is there. It is playing with words. If this is not understood, rest all is just playing with the words. And how much do I have to keep playing, he says. Well, I think somebody can find this out. Because it's huge. It's beautiful what he says. So here also I'm telling, all this what's happening, we are just playing with words. And even Shiva is playing with words. He's telling, realize the truth is very simple, but there is no need to go and play. But actually he is also playing, because 65 verses he has taken to explain this way, that way. Sarva Jnanantara, 62 verses, I am this, to tell his nature. He is explaining it so much of depth, because all this play of words we need. This knowing, this completeness. Whereas if you are a person who's just settled down there, you'll simply catch the tattva. Like I'm telling you, I'm doing Kala Jnana. What is the simple tattva that we catch? That's it. And if you get that message, you don't need to go through all that 65. As simple. If you find hard to get that, then you need to conceptualize all these things. And these are concepts. So this is one thing. That realize that you need not have to know. So, because another danger of knowing everything is you will simply get into too much of logic and too much of hoarding. You might get into reading hundreds of books, scanning through hundreds of videos, going to hundreds of places, all in that time. And it is just like that vasana only. I'm not happy with one. I want one more relationship. I'm not happy with one house. I want one more or a bigger. I'm not happy with a bike. I want a car. I'm not happy with a car. I want a limousine. It goes on. It's trying to expand itself into everything. Same way here also. I'm not contented with this. I need more information. I need to refer to at least another 10 gurus and then cross compare. People write to me. Why is he saying that? I said, go and ask him that. Who said it, guru? You go and ask that guru. Why are you asking me? What do I know why he said that? Nonsense it is. It's not needed. What's not needed, you don't have to bring. The tattvas are very clear in front of you. Don't compare notes and don't say why he's saying that. And Compare and don't send it to me at least. I'm not interested in any of the gap. I'm crystal clear what I'm doing. And my focus is just on that. So don't get confused. Don't distract others. Don't get distracted, don't distract others. Settle down. In whatever comes to you, it is coming to you out of grace. Just like food is coming to your plate because it's your prarabdha, same way that gyan will come to you if it is your prarabdha. If it is not, it will never come to you. You are sitting here, it is your prarabdha. We are discussing this, it's your prarabdha. If it was not in our destiny to do this thing would never happen. Understand this. This is where we are saying whatever happens is happening. Whatever we are settling down is tomorrow. If something deeper is needed, that will come to you. You don't have to call for it, like that lady in Banaras. Some person came out of nowhere and gave that upadesha and went. Very clearly, cleared and went. She didn't invite. If it is in the destiny of something that way to happen, it will come and it will go. So you don't have to call for that wisdom. Like if we hear this now, next time we go to Kashi, we start creating it. That's false. We are not letting life happen to us. And that is one reason I used to tell people, don't go by these videos that I'm making. Many people they will look into the videos and then they will come and enact the same. They'll say, I went there. You went there? Okay, good. So I sat there. I did this. And they will see it's a copycat. I'll see that it's exactly a copy of what I am doing. I said, that will not bring you the results. You can never be another person. You are you. You are unique. You are special. You identify what you are. And that spontaneity is what you are. Go with that spontaneity. There is an inner light that is guiding. No external light can guide you. Even I cannot guide you. I cannot tell you do this exactly. It will be foolish to tell because your inner light knows it. So what I'm training is connect to that, follow that. That is nirlambya. When you following your own light, you don't need anything else. So you become more and more settled. So there is no need to know everything out there. Realize this loop of desires that you have. Just you have a desire, don't fight that desire. Don't say, oh, I should not have desire. Have that desire. You have a vasana, you need something, you're going out to it. But just observe the loop of it. What am I doing now? Where it will lead to, where it will go, and how it will create another, maybe, probably another Rakta Bija, one more Bija. Will it create? Or just a more or less understanding and leave it and go and do that vasana. Get doing with it. But keep being aware of the loops of this, what the desires are doing, every desire. This will help you in becoming desireless. All these, what I'm telling you, will lead you to something. And all this will lead you to being only. This is all straight aimed for going for that. Then look into these expectations, the falseness of your expectations. Whenever you get time, sit down 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You can do all these separate whenever you have time. 5, 10 minutes. And just go into your expectation. Just become aware of how many expectations you have from life. Start with your own self. I expect myself to do this. I expect myself to wake tomorrow at 4 o'clock. That's your expectation. You expect somebody else to come and wake you at 4 o'clock. That is your expectation from somebody. Go on with all these aspects of life. Where all have you invested expectations? Expectations out of your life, expectation out of somebody. Make a list of it if you want, and then contemplate on it. You'll see the foolishness of that expectation. You'll see that nobody can fulfill those expectations. And even if they fulfill, you are not happy with it because now you want to expand that expectation. So you'll ask somebody, you'll expect somebody, do me a favor. Can you do me a favor? You're going out. Get something for me. Next time, oh, you're out already. Can you do me a favor? Get me. Now you're building up expectation on somebody. The day he says no, you will get wild. You will even forget this guy gave me 10 times what I wanted. The 11th time he will ignore you or not forget. You will become remorse. This is how you build on this falseness of expectations. Even that gratitude will go and the goodness of life will go, because all you'll hold on is that failure of expectation. Disappointments in life is nothing but failure of expectation. There was a family that I was talking to having a lot of issues in life. This is not right. That is not right. This is not going right. He's doing this. They are doing this. Family is troubling me. This is troubling. I said, that is all coming from your expectation. You are expecting your family to be perfect. You are expecting your husband to be perfect. Your children to be perfect. Children don't listen to me. You are expecting all the time from somebody, and all are not fulfilling your expectation. And every time they are not fulfilling, you are disappointed, you are shattered. And now you see, just like you have created a loop of expectation, they have also created a loop of disappointing you. You're not seeing that. The people who are disappointing you also, I have got into that. You will say, you are like this, I'll also be like this. So I've seen children, they will do exactly the opposite of what their parents are saying. ऐसा करना है, they will demonstrate and show मैं ऐसे नहीं करूंगा, because they are feeling that too much controlled and all that. They want freedom. I will do the opposite. So they have developed a habit now of disappointing you, and they are finding pleasure in that. Their expectation is that they disappoint you. And you get disappointed, and you listen to them now. You leave them alone. That is their expectation. You can see everybody is on this expectation zone, and you can disappoint people. If somebody is forcing you to do this, do this, like if the parent is too much bossy over the child, दादागिरी करके ऐसे ही करना है, ऐसे ही करना है, वो ये emotional blackmailing, and that child becomes repulsive after a certain age. Till they are dependent on you, till they are at your mercy, watch this out. They will listen to you. The day they become independent, or they know they have another option, and this is very regular, I am seeing. Most of the children, most of the relationships also. You thrash your wife, you put her in the corner, you don't allow, you be like the Rishi, you flirt around, but you don't allow her to look, give a second look also. All these things, when you do, she is dependent on you. She is helpless. You will find obedience in her. The day she has another option, he or she will be shattered. Huh? I never expected this one. I'm shocked. You will be in a shock because somebody has been pretending, because they are helpless for survival. Children are also that way. Babies, kids, okay, you're dominating, fine, fine. But the day they grow up, suddenly they will become repulsive. They will not listen to you, and they will say, "This ये बिगड़ गया बच्चा." बिगड़ नहीं गया, बिगाड़ा गया है इसको. आपने बिगाड़ा है. And that why स्वभाव it has happened. Expectations, expecting your children to be perfect. Children expecting the parents to be perfect. Nobody is perfect. Leave them alone. Leave the parents alone. Leave the children alone. Concentrate on your life. I have no expectation from anybody. Nobody in this world can make you happy. And even that falseness, Maya, is coming from because you expect something and somebody makes you happy. And now you think that's permanent. No, that is only the Brahma Tattva. Now, to make it permanent, you will struggle. You get into a relationship. Now, to sustain that relationship is a struggle. You win the love of somebody or you win the trust of somebody, good, easy. But to sustain that is a problem. Sustenance and maintenance is a problem. All this maintenance comes out of expectations. Become fully aware of all your expectations. A major chunk will fall out of your life, because this is main jad what I am telling. It's all rooted there. You don't have to go and cut branches. You go straight to this, everything, the whole tree will collapse. So once you understand, nobody can expect fulfill your expectation. Even if they do, it is temporary. I told you, do me a favor, 10 times you will do better. 11 time he doesn't do, your expectation is gone, the relationship is gone. You didn't do. So everything goes for a toss. Expectations, be very careful. Even don't expect out of yourself. Expecting out of yourself also is your biggest disappointment. Tomorrow I'll wake up at 4 o'clock. Gaya. If you don't wake up, you will get into guilt. I will become a nice person. I will achieve self-realization. I am going to do this. Today I am going to sit in dhyan and 1 hour. You are going to be the biggest disappointment you are going to get. 2 times you do that way, trying to sit in dhyana and you don't get it, you will lose your interest in dhyana. You will say, this guy is not no use. Then you'll start blaming yourself. Pata nahi, I try, no, it's not happening. I am not able to. I don't know what's wrong with me. See what's happened. Your expectation with yourself, you have put yourself in this trouble. Don't expect from yourself also. Just be observant of how life is happening. See how you are moving towards that being. Simply you will become aware of everything. All the doing will just stop. Doing is coming out of expectations. You want to fulfill somebody's expectation, you will get up and be a doer. You want to prove somebody, you will be a doing this and that. You look at children, they're busy trying to prove their parents or their teachers, right? Or they want to stand up to their standards. तो बेचारे सब कुछ करते हैं, कर करके थक जाते हैं. So that's the falseness of expectations. You can Another thing that you need to become aware of is the poisons of the updates, of being updated in this world. So you use your tools like news, newspapers, television, internet, social media to be updated of what's happening. Become aware of the poisons. They are one of the most deadly poisons that will keep your man chanchala and in the doer mode. Your mind will never rest. It will trigger vasanas, it will deepen vasanas, it will fuel vasanas. And if you're not aware, you cannot get out of it. So whole day you will be unaware of these processes. And sometimes when you're sitting down to meditate or do, you will not be able to do it. The people who are not able to meditate have got hyperactive mind, which is hyperly involved in the world, entangled in the world. Just look at it, you'll come to know. How do I know? See, there is a tattva very clear. If I'm too adamant, too rigid, karma yoga. If I'm too selfish, too much thinking about myself, karma yoga is recommended because you become selfless there, nishkam. That's why this is prescribed. The tattva is for that. Too much into myself, me, mine, and too much rigid. To break that rigidity is that I don't bend. They said go and bend in front of, serve somebody. And then you have this bhakti yoga. The same thing. The whole idea is to annihilate that what you call the involvement. You spread out your tentacles into everything. So I say, bring your focus into that God, Bhakti, your Guru, your God. Again and again, focus it. Your dharana, it is bringing your dharana to one pointedness instead of phaila. There's simple secrets, these are all. Why it is? It is not that you develop bhakti and you praise your Guru and your God and get stuck with that and all. What is the purpose? What will happen if you keep praising your Guru or your God forever and ever and ever? There's no idea. The ideology is this, that your dharana comes and you get focused into something that is higher, something that is divine than all these mundane things. So there also you can see it is to bring your attention into a certain way. And same way, the dhyana also is that. Dhyana is to bring Nischalta. So you can see all these are prescribed remedies to bring you to purity. Karma Yoga leads you to purity. Bhakti Yoga leads you to purity, divinity. Raj Yoga also leads you to Nischalta and purity. You can see the aim of all this is to bring you purity. Shuddhi, Chitta Shuddhi. Is all meant for Chitta Shuddhi. So we have a more or less clear understanding if you investigate. Oh, if the whole path is talking about Chitta Shuddhi and making Nirmal Man so that it becomes Nischal Man. If Nirmal Man is the agenda, that means Man Mela hai. That means we are just cleaning the Ashuddhis, impurities. It is called Chittamala. Means the dirt of the mind, impurity of the mind. So all these, please understand, is prescribed only to remove the impurities of the mind. How do you know if you are impure? If my mind is impure? Just sit for 5 minutes and try to become aware or meditative. In 30 seconds, you will find your mind, if it is running in 10 different directions, that is the indication of a mala in the chitta. Impurities of the mind will make one restless. So that has to be cleared. So if that is too burdening, we take the help of all these yogas. Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raj Yoga. It helps if you can help. But there is one method, what we are discussing here, there's the path of awareness. If you just become aware, you are keeping the mal aside and you are coming into a center where you are divine and pure. You're not paying attention to it. So if you get too much into the world updates and news and all that, you are entering straight into the mala, dirt. And the more, instead of being contemplative and meditative on your chitta, on your shuddha chitta, on your being, on your atman, on your awareness, you are putting where? You are meditating on the mala of the world. So be very careful of this. Be fully aware. I'm not even telling rules, don't do this, don't do that. That's up to you. You do it, I'm telling, but be aware when you're reading something on the social media. Reels. I've seen reels are so addictive, my God. Sometimes I see, I'm like 15 minutes gone in that. Going one after the other. And then I see, oh, it started with this one video. Where it has taken me. And with every video, my mind is entangled. What's happening? The content, my moods change, my behavior change, my feelings change. Sometimes you feel dirty, sometimes you feel nice, sometimes you feel humorous, sometimes you feel scared. What is this? This is all meditation on the mala. Be fully aware of this. I'm not saying don't do it. Again, there is no rules. I'm telling, don't do it, do it. Do it. Focus on the mala, but with awareness. Be aware that I'm on the mala. That's it. And keep doing it. You'll see that you'll lose your interest immediately the moment you become fully aware of it. You'll immediately pull back. Not that, oh, it is a bad thing or suddenly you lose interest because you remind yourself, I'm a seeker. I'm a divine child. And as I say, I have this constant awareness practices of your body, mind, thoughts, emotions, feelings that you can do with all the simple practice that I'm doing. Keep this practice at all times because it will help you. Be aware of your peripheral vision, who is there around you, what is there. Try to grasp multiple things at the same time. Try to be aware of your feelings inside, what's happening inside your body, at the same time outside. See things, what is there in front of you, the work, at the same time grasp around. What is happening is you'll keep expanding your awareness, and you'll see when the moment you expand your awareness, mind goes still. So these are very good practices that will be bring you into the being. And you'll see always when you practice awareness, you cannot be in the doing mode. You'll always get into the being. Even if you're doing, see, many people ask that, oh, in awareness while doing what? You can have awareness. You try it out. First, you will feel that, oh, I need mind and all that. Later, you'll come to know, even while you're doing your work, also you're aware. There is an awareness that is there. And in that state of awareness, you will notice that you will not be the doer. Check it out. When you're truly in that state, when you're doing some work, and when you are completely aware, you're just expanded out and you're doing that work, you'll feel that there is no doership that you're doing. There's no identification of that. You'll see that something is happening through you. Life is happening, work is happening. That's how we do all this work. All the divine work is done in that manner. You cannot sit thinking, doing it will not happen, or we'll spoil the show if you get into that. You just become aware of what's happening and just go with that. The work also happens. So, those practices which I said, this will all stabilize you into the being. Because whenever you're doing this practice, you will see the doer will be absent, the being will come. Automatically, it will erupt at those times. So, you can keep expanding those simple practices. Realize that everything can function without you all the time. Everything can function without you. Your kids can function without you. Parents can function without you. Your husband, your wife can function without you. Your boyfriend, girlfriend can function and will function without you. Life can function without you. The sun, moon, stars, everything will function without you. That is very important to bring that awareness. All the ego, that I will start dissolving like anything, because that I is the doer. That doer will start dissolving, because when you feel it is because of me, you get involved. When you realize that it is not because of me, nothing depends on me, where will you be having the pull to maintain and sustain that? So realize this at all times, that everything can function without you. And we have seen that. Everything in the body is functioning without you. Have this awareness of this particular thing. Next point is settle for only the truth in life. Wherever you look at, whatever you look at, wherever you see, all the time. Settle for nothing other than truth. Seek the truth. Be a seeker of truth. Don't be a seeker of God, because God has different definitions. Truth is God, God is the truth. So seek the truth in everything, ultimate truth in everything. See what is real, because only the real exists. Like Ramana said, what comes and what goes is not real. Which never came and which will never go, which was never born, which will never die, is real. That is the ultimate self. So keep always the focus on finding the truth, seeking the truth, realizing the truth. Whatever it is, don't just blindly settle for it. See the truth in everything. Again, I'm telling, don't conclude. I'm not saying after you see the truth, go and fight for it. Never said. You don't have to fight for the truth. You don't have to win the truth. Become aware of the truth. You see some falseness, become aware of the truth in it. Be silent. In yourself, in others. See the crookedness in your own mind. Oh, this is becoming this way. Okay. Around the world, they are doing some false things. You are aware of it. Become aware of it. That's it. Many people say, oh, they are doing wrong. Now I must fight for it. Now I must prove it to them what they are doing is wrong. Be aware of it, I said. Be aware of the falseness and go your way. What happens is you will start getting neutrality. Non-judgmental, no opinion, no conclusion, no jumping to conclusions, nothing. You're seeing everything. This is the quality of Shiva. Devata Gana, Rakshas Gana, both are standing. He's aware of both. He's seeing the stupidity and the evilness of that also, not concluding. Because if he concludes, karma will begin, doing will begin. Then he has to become a doer. Then he has to expel people out. Then he has to keep somebody inside. Shuru ho gaya, Kriya Kanda. Whereas if he has not to get into doing, he will just observe, be aware. That's it. No judgment. No further action after that. This will settle you into your being. Simple things. Find the truth. Seek the truth in everything. See the falseness as it is. See, don't judge. It's a very simple thing, it's a very small thing. You might say it's very difficult. Like I say, a shopkeeper, you're buying something and you ask what is the rate of that. He says this is the rate. Immediately you see he's tricking you because you know the price somewhere else. You have seen the falseness move. That's it. You saw the falseness. Don't sit there to again. Oh, you don't know. You guys are all crook. I had been to that shopkeeper. I know you're cheating. To correct the world, to save the world is none of our business. To see through everything and yet be an aware witness is that. So you can train yourself in that. Opinions, please understand. Viveka will show you what is right, what is wrong. Buddhi, that's the work of awareness and buddhi. That's it. The next step below it is the mind. The moment it says this is right, this is wrong, the next thing that will happen is your mind will start the doing. Oh, this is right, you'll start doing something. Oh, this is wrong, you'll start doing something. That is the mind. The opinion maker, the judger, the one who judges is always the mind. Awareness never judges. Awareness sees and knows what is truth, what is right. After that, if you are not aware, immediately mind ka kriyakand shuru ho jata hai. If you are not aware, if you are aware, you will not aware that, you will not allow that one step to happen. So that's a trick. Whenever you see, it can happen very naturally. You judge, you have an opinion, immediately become aware of that and drop it. You'll know it's no use. So, what are we saying? If Shiva is sitting with his eyes closed, he is not blind. He knows everything. Same message is for us. If we are quiet, doesn't mean we don't know. We know everything. But we are not acting upon it because we are not actors. We are not the doers. We are witnesses. That is the tattva of Shiva, that is being. So this quality also will strengthen more of being than doing. Then bring, very important, bring a completion to everything in life. I always have this habit of completing. Completion, giving completion. I'm not talking about your work and what you have taken and all that. Okay, that's fine. If you have kept a promise, complete it. I have this habit. Because anything pending is hovering. This is the cause of your doing. Chanchal mana. Somewhere it will keep attacking from inside. Chitta ashant. Ashuddhi it will create. So have this habit of giving completion wherever you can. Whatever is possible in your hand, give completion. What you do not know, leave it. Whenever it has to get completed, it will get completed. But whatever is in your hand, don't lose the opportunity of completion. Somebody helps you complete. Say thank you. Pay for that person's service. Somebody gives you a lift. Whatever way, either gratitude, complete, give a completion. Don't keep one-sided pending. Don't be just a taker and running away from that, because that will create more give and take karmas, and that will not allow you to liberate. So have this habit of giving completion to everything. In some way, some gesture, somebody did something to you. When you have the opportunity, go and do something for them. buy them something, or say some good words, even if they don't know why you're saying. Many times you can go do something to others hiddenly, hidingly. Like, I remembered once I had stolen money from one of my friend in my childhood. वो खटकता था मेरे अंदर. Even till the adult age, that thing was there. I did that wrong to that person and my good friend. And whenever I used to look at him, I used to always feel I cheated this guy. So that guilt was building up. That is a give and take. And then what I did was, whenever, whatever I could do, without a reason, I started doing it for him. Something, something or the other. With this awareness that I'm giving that completion to that false which I did to that person. In some other way, I'm giving a return. I owe him that because I took something from him. I have to give him that. And I'll give him much better thing than that. Immediately the chitta becomes shuddha and shant there. The completion is there. So all such things in life, if you feel something is coming up, give it out. If you can't do it to that person, if that person is not alive, for example, do it in some other way. To society, do things where you can. But in this awareness that, okay, this feeling of incompleteness, I'm giving it a completion. You'll see that karmic stuff will start disappearing. The debt, karmic debt. So in whichever way you can, to anybody, if you can't give it in the same kind, and you don't have to tell and do that, you can do it very hidingly. Like I said, he is not even aware, my friend. When I started returning him back in very different ways, sometime some years back, he was not even aware of it, and he need not be made aware of it. I'm just fulfilling that thing. So give everything a completion, and I mean it. Everything means everything. A vasana is coming in your head, give it a completion, please. Don't suppress it. Don't try to hide and seek and all those things. Some vasana is coming out. But while you are giving it completion, be fully aware. Be fully aware that I'm giving this a completion. Then you are not under the influence of a sudden reaction, impulsive. It is not just impulsive. You are completely aware of it. You are giving it a completion. Anything that is coming. I have given multiple examples in my life where things came, it was incomplete. Vasana of eating something or something, give it. Even now also I do that. Even now. So there is nothing called do's and don'ts. It is there, valid, you do it. That is why Shiva says in this, don't fall for rules, do's and don'ts. Because if you are in the bracket of do's and don'ts, you will become a Kattarvadi. Then I should not do this. You'll suppress. You'll start suppressing it. You'll not give it a completion. So you can live a life of awareness and start giving completion. That is one thing. Or if you are in that frame of mind where you can take it on like a sadhana, then do a practice and sit every day if you can, half an hour or whatever time. Bring all the incompletions up, become completely aware of it. And at that moment only, you can give many a completion. Completion is given just by acknowledgement. Do you know? Most of the completion have no acknowledgement. We have not acknowledged it. We have suppressed it. So if you have that complete acknowledgement, this is there in me, you can acknowledge. Many other time, like for example, guilt. Like that guilt. I stole something from my friend in my childhood. I stole. That's a guilt. That's an energy that is there. Now, if I become fully aware and I say, I did this stupid thing, I'm acknowledging I did something. Half the burden is gone there. I acknowledged it. That courage to see that. So if you can sit and bring up all the incompletions where you feel this is not, I did this incomplete. And there, through your emotions, if you can give it completion, just by your emotion, do it. You'll see many of this karmic stuff will just start evaporating from your life. Most of these karmas we are holding because of non completion. We are not even aware of it. Acknowledge the knikia. And last two things. One is the attempt to change, which I told again. The whole mantra in that is acceptance. If you have complete acceptance, means you are not interested in changing it. The interest or urge to change anything means you have not accepted it, including yourself. Why do we say accept myself the way I am? Because if I don't accept myself the way I am, like for example, I'm discussing my sins here openly. I did this, I did that. Or sometimes I talk about my vasanas. This is there, that is there. This is sadhana for me. Because I am completely acknowledging it. There's nothing to play hide and seek here. Because if I play hide and seek, then I'm hiding one darker aspect of me and then showing off something else. So it is very nice to be open with your other side also, because that is acknowledging that you are also imperfect. Otherwise, it can get glorified into something else. You can have the wrong notion that everything is perfect. And so the acceptance, first of all, I'm accepting myself. I'm imperfect. When I say I'm accepting, I'm imperfect. When I acknowledge I'm imperfect, there is room for perfection. When I don't acknowledge itself that I'm imperfect, there is no room for change. Evolution stops. So, accepting the self, accepting others. Somebody is this way, it is that way. None of my job to change, none of my job to expect and accept connected. No expectations means I am a thorough acceptance. So what will happen is most of these complaints and grudges of life will die down. You become neutral. You go into the being. Because if it doesn't die down, you will get into the doing. Do this, do that. So if you just simply begin accepting not because it's a philosophy, understanding the mundane thing, you cannot change anything. All are doing as per their karma. Somebody is irritating, somebody is not changing. How many times I told, how many years pass, not understanding. Karma, not that because they want to hurt you or something like that. They are helplessly tied under that karma like we are. We are also having so many things. When you realize these things, oh, how hard it is for me to change some things, it must be so hard for them also. Though outside it looks very arrogant, but inside they are suffering. When you look at that, Karuna comes. You drop all inhibitions. You simply accept that person is that way. Because you are accepting yourself also. You are seeing your own helplessness. You are accepting. So that gives peace. That cuts out karma. That cuts out the karmic debts. Remember one thing. All this in the family and the people around you is happening of give and take. Become aware of that give and take. Whenever something is happening which is not supposed to be in the right frame, understand some give, some take is happening. If you become a witness, you will allow that transaction to finish. If you don't become aware and accept that moment, you will become a doer and do more things, worsen the situation, add on more karmas. So acceptance of how life is. Everything is in perfect order. Everything is where they're supposed to be. People are where they're supposed to be in their journey. No need to improvise them, no need to build. They will still move according to their karma. So if I try to change, what will happen is I'm putting an expectation. Again, same thing. Expectation will create disappointment, and disappointment will create more doership. I will do this and that again. That will create another loop of whole scenario. Finally, become completely aware of this container called ego. Now, ego is not gamand, it is not pride, I'm not talking about that. This path, when we say ego, is this container of this I-ness, this I, mind, everything that comes as much as possible. It might not be easy, but it's not very hard also. You can always keep it under vigilance, and you don't have to do anything about it. You don't have to say, oh, this is ego, now let me kill it. Don't do anything. Watch it. Watch the dramas of the mind. Watch the dramas of the ego. Watch what it is compelling you to do. Watch what it is compelling, how it is compelling you to feel, behave, do certain things. Watchful of that. And just becoming aware that this is my ego doing it all the time. This is my body consciousness. This is my grossness. All the time, acknowledging it. Slowly you will see that also starts weakening. What is ego actually? Ego is this feeling that whatever I'm saying right now, this I separateness is the root cause of everything. Now, when I is there, you come, we come, they come, and even God comes because I is there. Really? Because I is there only God came. Two हो गए ना? What are we saying? I am God. What are we doing all this practice to realize I am God? But when I comes, I separate, God separate, and I become a bhakti. Immediately there is two. So everything is because of this I, separation of this I. It looks at everything as separate. The more distance this I, this feeling, the more far is God, the more multiple diversities. You will have hundreds of gods. You will see hundreds of people. You will see hundreds of countries, different languages. You will see the barriers all. You will see caste, color, dharma, paths. All this will start segregating. The more I comes in, the more divisions. So this I, this feeling of I everywhere. When I say I am this, I am angry, I am hungry, this I, which is there. Actually, my body is hungry. My feelings, my mind is angry. I am not angry. I am not hungry. So I've moved into that false I, which is calling itself the I. That I is the ego. Whatever is false, whatever believes that I am this, which you are not. Yesterday we did the practices when you are going deep and realizing I am that. That's my essence. I'm pure awareness. So whenever you are pure awareness, you know. Whenever you're not your awareness, when you're in your mind, that is the ego. Whenever you function through your mind, whenever you get offended, whenever you have expectation, when you have disappointment, the one who's stressed, the one who's tired, this is all the ego, not the self. Self is blissful. So as much as possible, this is little difficult. This one, which I told, but it's okay. Even if you can not, it's okay. But the other things which is easy, you can keep these points and keep reflecting. At least if you can do every day, great. Or once in a week, sit and do that, and try to expand. What will happen is all these points what I discussed is what is making you a doer. You are more into this habit of doing is because of these things. If you pay attention on this, that doership will start reducing, and you will just settle in life. Doing is happening. If it is your prarabdha, will take on. If you are supposed to do a job, the job will happen through you. There is no doubt about it. But you identifying that you are doing the job is the problem I'm saying. That job came to you because of your destiny. It was supposed to happen, it came to you. But if you feel, no, I created my job, shuru ho gaya problem. You'll say no, you can argue, no. I only went for the interview. I applied for it. I went and sat for the interview. And I passed the interview. If you go deeper with Upadesaram, you'll know that you wouldn't forget passing. That when you are saying, I applied for a job, you're not seeing how did the job come to you, first of all. Did you go out and no? It came, how did it come? It came in your awareness. Maybe you saw a newspaper, or maybe a friend forwarded you WhatsApp. Something. What is that something? There that we don't take into consideration. We put our thappa from the time we write an application. I wrote this. But how many hundreds of factors work to bring you that attention to that? And तुम्हारा योग बनना चाहिए वो job के लिए. Otherwise, it's not like you write an application and you're good. Everybody who has written an application have got the job. What is it that decides you get it or not? You might say it is my capability and all that. If you study, investigate further, you will understand it's your destiny playing itself. What comes to you is what meant to be. What doesn't come to you is not meant to be. Simple, if you understand this, you will not break your head with what you don't get. You simply know this is for the highest good that's happening. You know, a man will start or woman will start feeling completely different. The doer will always suffer saying that I didn't get it. I'm disappointed. I'm unsuccessful. I need to become successful. I need to do something. Look at it. You'll get into doing. Whereas the other person, the seeker, will look at it, who realizes that everything is for the highest good, will bless himself and say, thank God, who knows what was going to come with that if it would have come. It didn't come to me because the divine will knows. Immediately your perspective changes. You'll say, it's not the fox saying the grapes are sour. Oh, मुझे मिला नहीं इसलिए अंगूर खट्टे हैं. नहीं say that. अंगूर खट्टे इसलिए ऐसे बोल रहे हैं. I see many times, many people say this. Oh, grapes are sour, you felt, so you are just तुक्का लगाया तुमने. Grapes are sour. चखा तो नहीं, तुक्का लगाया. हाथ में नहीं है तो you said grapes are sour. I said, try to चख के तो देख लो. How do you know if it is really खट्टा? खट्टा ही हो सकता है. चख के तो देख लो. There are multiple angles of how you look at these things as escapism or what this. So all these fundas will not play any role if you are understanding the basics of all these things. So these are all the tips that I could remember. I was noting it down yesterday only so that I could tell you yesterday, but I couldn't. Yesterday we were involved in that process. We all got drowned in that. And time usi mein chala gaya. So anyway, good this happened because this gives a lot more deep insights of helping us out and tips. And I'm glad everybody is there here, even apart from the people who are not there. So anyways, we have this Arunachala Tattva is coming. I'm leaving tomorrow or day after to Arunachala again. I'll be there. So I'm contemplating deeply again on the Upadesh Saram and the Tattva is there. That's what I feel called to. And that is why the whole program after that also. So we'll be essentially on that, how I feel guided. That's what I'll be doing. But I am called to very strongly to this. And I don't know. As usual, I don't know where it will end, what will be. It's just feeling it and go by that. So the whole week from 6th to 13th, the whole week is there. And the excuse shouldn't be about the money and all the stuff. I have kept it literally free. There's nothing there. The Grace of Arunachala third is a free program. And Upadesaram is again the very nominal amount which I have kept, and it's almost stretched to a week, almost a week that you're contemplating on that. And I've even kept that whoever is doing a week need not pay for the Meditate on the Self program, which is on 13th. So you can see it's literally like free. People cannot say, no, it's for money or because of money. I'm not. No, that shouldn't be an excuse. So it's like you can completely be involved right from 3rd, from 6th to 13th completely. But I'm just checking out that the presence, the attendance of that Upadesh Saram must be there in order to qualify for the. Because if somebody just signs up, registers, and if they are not there, then that won't be considered because it's not going to work. So that is why I put that clause. If you only understand Upadesha Saram, you can meditate on the self. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Like right now, if I start doing what we learned in Sarvagyanatra, you'll not be able to do it. If the Sarvagyanatra has entered into your being, very easily you can do it like this. That's how you saw very easily. Yesterday, you were able to enter into it because the whole week we did Sarvagyanatra. So yesterday's meditation, some could not get into it. They were scratching and what. And if you look at it, they were the people who did not attend that. What happens is the depth misses. So you feel no, it's not in all this. It might be in the final thing. It might be in the technique. It will not work. That is why we are simmering down all the time into this. That is why the whole week is there for the Arunachala Tattva. So all that you need here now is your time. If you can take out time, do it. And these recordings for the people who are in the Western zone will be available only for 24 hours. It's more challenging now because the Zoom cannot accumulate too many things. It doesn't record after a certain thing. It removes, trashes it out. So you have only 24 hours because guys are recording, seeing the recording here also. So in that also, if you have 24 hours, it's good because immediately you can, even if you get more, you won't be able to do it because every day there is a new thing coming. So if you are not in the loop, you can. Now, how you manage your time, how you're going to do that, I leave it up to you and that what happens. We are in a process. But you can see the last month and this month, it's getting powerfully connected to the tattvas. Powerfully. And this is what we are actually, the whole spiritual practice is to bring you and settle down into your sat, into your soul, into your self. If that is happening, delighted. It's all happening. So this is one process, one cycle with all the people who have been regularly doing. I want to come to that and try to culminate. That's all we can do. Attempt, culminate it to that. And then again, another loop will begin for me with the new people and all that. So if somebody feels they're not complete in that, they can continue with the process. So this is how the whole cycle will keep on moving. So I hope today's session was helpful to you. Thank you for your time and thank you for being here because as I say always, it is your presence that makes it all happen. Even I'm motivated to because of your presence. So you are equally nourished in all this, and we are here. It's a beautiful game that we are all playing here together. All the souls we know are realities. We have fallen down into these new games, and this is also a part of that game. And the whole idea is that we are enjoying this game. That's what I'm urging everybody to get into. You don't think it's boring when you get nothing to do, everything Upadesh Saram, what is left now? It cannot be that. You don't know it's an amazing life if you understand what I'm trying to tell you. That just by getting into the being and doing nothing, by giving up all the ownership, and then when life takes on, when you witness it, the bliss that you get out of that witnessing the life being so beautifully handled this way or that way and not being affected by it, you won't understand that's freedom. And that's what I wish for everybody, that we get into that zone and settle down sooner or later in that. So much divine love and light to all of you. May we all be blessed. May we all be free. May we all evolve. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May Arunachala bless everyone. Arunachala Shiva. See you then. Take care. Bye.